All right, we are live. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming and watching our new, well, I guess 2-week-old Monday night live stream. I renamed it to Monday Night Draw, which it was supposed to be originally, I think, right? Meredith's here. Say hi, Meredith.
Hey, everybody. Sorry, I've got the sound going twice. Now we're okay. Now I can focus. I forgot to mute.
So today I wanted to draw Wolverine. I got some requests. I've been getting requests in the comments about drawing something with pencil. And so this week we're going to do pencil. It's going to be Wolverine. I'm going to do it in pencil. It's nice to do that every once in a while and, you know, change it up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for coming. Not a person's here. Alex Xavier, Jude Power, Art C, Hebert.
I just want to say thank you to everybody who may or may not also be watching hockey, because there are NHL games happening tonight.
Yeah, well, yeah.
There might be other sports happening tonight, but we live in Canada.
That's right.
So the only game that we're aware of is hockey.
Yeah, well, and we had some hockey going on over here at our house earlier today.
Dave lost it.
I lost, yeah. I almost got the kitchen cleaned from you, but it didn't work out.
And instead, he owes Isaac a Fortnite skin.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like those are not, you know,
that's not what I wanted.
Of equal value, those two, but you know, it is what it is.
I don't know. What does a Fortnite skin cost?
Like $25.
Come on.
Yeah, they are not cheap. You know, that's why I was like, "Hey, Isaac, how many Fortnite skins do you have?" I literally think he stopped counting when he hit 20.
Wow, I had no idea. I figured, $2.
See, what people don't know is that 2 years ago, Dave and I took a vacation to Mexico. And prior to that vacation, Dave thought it would be awesome to put the Xbox in Isaac's room. And at the time, that Xbox did not have parental controls. So we were sitting in a beautiful French restaurant at a resort was it Mexico? It wasn't Mexico. On New Year's Eve, when I suddenly get an alert from Everett saying Isaac just spent $700 on Fortnite buying skins.
Yeah, that kind of.
I don't even think that was the total.
Dinner was not the same after that.
It really was. What a way to ring in the new year that was.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, Dave drew a lot of sketches to cover that one. Let me tell you.
As if it was my fault. Well, I did put it in his room, but
somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're gonna pay for that. It's like rent.
Yeah.
And we have our first super chat with that story. Thank you so much, Chip Juarez, for his $5 super chat.
Thank you so much, Chip.
David, did you look up Terra Man? Because I'm going to ask every week.
Okay, Meredith, you got to look it up for me.
Thanks for the stream, and P.S. What's for dinner? Tonight we had roast chicken with boiled potatoes, because boiled new potatoes are literally my favorite. This is I love potatoes, period, but this is my favorite time of year because you can get new potatoes and boiled with butter, and then you add a little bit of chicken gravy because it was roast chicken, and some Brussels sprouts, which normally I do so my whole family loves, and I roast them, but today I really want to boil Brussels sprouts, which I'm the only one that's going to eat that, and then I had made broccoli for everybody else, so that's what was for dinner.
There you go.
I think that my answer was better than your answer, Terra Man.
Okay, so you need to look it up. Can you do that?
I can do a lot of things.
There you go. All right.
I think the question you want to ask, Isaac, is will I do that?
Will you do that?
I will.
All right.
I say Isaac because I've been correcting. Isaac's going back to school in the fall.
Oh, you just called me Isaac?
I did.
Great. Yeah.
Well, he's going back to school and he's constantly saying me and dad and me and that. And I'm like, no, that's not how we speak.
Well, he gets that from me because I say that too much.
Terra Man looks like a cowboy.
Let's see it. Ah, I know Terra Man.
So there you go. He looks like Jonah Hex. Is that right? Did I get that right?
If I'm not wrong, I think he was designed by Keith Giffen, actually.
Well, there you go.
I'm pretty sure.
That was like one of the greatest super chats ever. Look at the conversation we had from that. Yeah. We have hello from Russia and from Hungary tonight.
Well, hello, Russia and Hungary.
Oh. Chip says we like to take the new potatoes and boil it with shrimp, crawfish, and sausage. It's called the Low Country Broil.
Oh, see, I would like that.
See, I would love that.
I'm not huge on potatoes, but that...
I would love that, but we live in the frickin' Midwest for all intents and purposes, right? Like, we're Windsor, Ontario, across from Detroit. Nobody's getting crawfish. I mean, we could do shrimp.
Yeah, anybody can do shrimp.
And I love Fly Fox Pro likes Brussels sprouts. Dave only likes them when... Oh, Dave's face was priceless when you said sad. When you said boiled Brussels sprouts. You really didn't like boiled Brussels sprouts.
No. My mother used to make them, and I had to eat them. I could not leave the table. So, yeah, they have a special place in my heart.
But you like them when I roast them with balsamic vinegar.
Yep.
Then they're delicious.
Yeah, then they're...
And sometimes you want to throw back to your roots.
Yeah. Well, throwback to my roots would be liver.
Oh, no.
I used to have liver.
No. My grandmother apparently fed my mom liver raw when she was a child, and my mother loved it until she asked what it was, and from that day forward, she never ate liver, which meant we never had to suffer through liver.
Yeah, I sure did.
Joshua Cousin says your variant for The Walking Dead's first issue was so beautifully done.
Thank you, Joshua. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a huge amount of fun to do. I mean, you know, I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. I'm a huge or a fan of the comic. I'm a fan of the show. So yeah, it was cool to be a part of it.
All right, we got another super chat. Let me find it. We have a super chat from Greg L for $2. Thank you so much, Greg. He says, "Hey guys, thanks for the streams." You're welcome. Thanks for coming on Monday night.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
Art C Design says Blackhawks, but we're Canadian, so we say Maple Leafs.
Who lost yesterday?
Maple Leafs.
Yeah, it was.
They got to do better.
Yeah, well, they got to do better fast too. There's not a whole lot of time.
No, it's best of 5, not best of 7.
That's right.
So Hockey wants to know if I've tried shepherd's pie, mince with potato on top. Of course. I will say shepherd's pie. Sometimes I trick my kids and I make it with lamb and tell them it's ground beef. It doesn't work. They know.
They can tell.
They can tell. Actually, Everett's preference is ground turkey.
Yeah, mine too.
Is it?
We're going to talk about food all night?
We might. This might be the food night. Let's talk cooking because I think I deserve an endorse. I could endorse a product right now. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm telling you, I found my new very favorite thing. All right. Let's go. Shepherd's pie. Joe Willis Art. Hey, Dave Meredith. I just did a computer build live stream and made I finish so I wouldn't have to do a second stream during this stream because I didn't want to miss it.
Oh, well, thank you, Joe. It's always great to have Joe Willis here.
And of course, we want to say thank you to Eric for being here and moderating the stream.
Yes. Thank you again to Eric. Eric Grove is our moderator, as always. And
the greatest.
The greatest. Keeps the whole thing going and running smoothly and manages the Discord server, which I have to apologize. I went to the server today and I saw a bunch of art in the critiques and some different sections and some beautiful stuff. And I have just been so overly busy for the last...
That's true. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
All right, we have 2 more super chats. I'm behind. Henry says, Meredith, this is not a super chat stream, or not a cooking stream. That's true. But
See?
I might
There
still
you go.
talk cooking. That's not the super chat question. Daniel Castelli. Daniel, welcome this week. Thank you for your super chat for $4.99. Daniel says, greetings, Finch fam. I emailed Comic Sketch Art last week, but never got a response. Oh, no. I also bought Rose Volume 1 today, and it looks great. Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
First of all, thank you
for the super chat
Rose.
also, and for buying Rose. And
I hope you love it. There's 2 more volumes. I hope you love those too. I'm really proud of that book. I feel like I'm really happy with it. And if Rose doesn't make you a fan of Iguara, nothing will. Because his art, and he's on like Spider-Gwen or something like that right now, so he's amazing. So I always love when I get to work with amazing artists, which quite frankly I've been blessed to work with amazing artists on literally every book I've done.
Yeah, and I want to say, you found him from nothing, but it's not true. He was already...
Yeah.
He'd already done a bunch of stuff for Marvel,
He was taking a break from Marvel, and
we were very lucky to...
I did. I snatched him up. Thank you to Joe Prado for that one. And Daniel, forward me your email to Comic Sketch, and we'll see if we can work something out. If you tag Kat, she's the person who takes care of us at Comic Sketch. Kat is awesome. Kat, I can't say enough good things about Kat. Kat rocks. So, all right. We have another super chat from Clorox who didn't drink me for $10. Thank you so much, Clorox who didn't drink me. Thank you for not drinking the Clorox. I love it on my whites and in my sink, but probably not down my throat. Hey guys, I'm about a year into taking my art serious. How long do you spend on your quality or good sketches? I typically take about 2 to 4 hours. Is that long? I don't think so at all.
Oh, no, not at all. Okay, I would say for a finished art page for me that I'm penciling for a monthly book, I take just about 8 hours would be about how long it takes. For a sketch like this, it's generally just about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. This one might run just a little long, Meredith, sorry, because I've got some ninja that I want to put in the bottom of this. And I figured it's pencil, maybe I could get away with it. I also, I thought I could get away with pencil too, because part of the reason I'm doing ink is I feel like it shows up better and it's more visible on the screen. But with my new camera, new-ish camera now, it's showing up a little bit better, I think. So hopefully it won't be too light and it'll be, it'll show up well.
So 2 to 4 hours is a good amount of time.
I think it's a good amount of time. What I would say, though, is really what you don't want to do is worry overly much about how long things are taking. And, you really want to worry about the quality that you're putting out. If it takes you 30 hours to make something really your best work, then it's worth those 30 hours and you will get faster. So I would say, I wouldn't worry about time too much. I have met artists before that can actually just... they say, I can draw 3 or 4 pages a day and it's crazy fast. And honestly, it shows, unless you're, Mark Bagley or somebody that really, really is an absolute many years long professional that really knows what they're doing, you're going to suffer for that. So I'd say take the time that you need to take.
All right. I have a personal shout out that I'm going to make right now. I'm going to read this and see if you pick up on it.
Okay.
From B. LaForge. Hi, David. It's Maddie, Lance's niece.
Oh, hey, Maddie. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming and watching the show. Lance is my best friend, and Maddie, is his niece. And we met actually earlier this summer, just a few weeks ago.
And Maddie is a super comic book fan.
Yeah, I drew a picture of the Vision for Maddie, which is a lot of fun.
All right, let me see. I saw a few questions. Is this going to be... Artsy Designs wants to know if it's going to be Mark Millar's Wolverine. I don't know. They all just look the same to me. Oh my gosh, I just lost my comic card. They don't all look the same to me. I'm kidding. But I truly don't know whose Wolverine is whose Wolverine.
Okay, well, this is going to be...
There's like the yellow Wolverine.
Yeah, there's the yellow and blue.
Wolverine. There's Bone Claw Wolverine.
Right. Well, this is going to be the brown costume Wolverine. It's my favorite. So, unless I have some reason why I have no choice, it's going to be the brown costume.
And clearly, if I was going to write Wolverine, I'd know more about Wolverine. But I'm not, so I don't. All right. And then I have to shout out because Gabriella Sepulveda says, Rose is awesome. And Gabriella was like the very first person I ever met who cosplayed Rose.
Oh, that's great.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. Yep, I do remember.
So you didn't come. I got to go to Baltimore without you.
I saw pictures after, yeah.
But she went even so far as to dye her brown hair white blonde to match the character. And she killed it. Like, Gabriella, seriously, you killed it. So, I'm just saying. And yeah, since I'm basically in charge of what I'm reading, I'm going to shout out people who do stuff like that. So there you go.
There you go.
There you go. If you dress as my character and I take a picture with you, you're probably going to get a shout out on the screen. Also, Gabriella is a kick-ass artist too. So there you go. All right. And I've like my stream jumped, so now I got to go back to Dude Power wants you to make another channel.
Another channel?
Another channel, Gaming with David Finch. Which is actually, I have to say, Dude Power, gaming with David Finch has now become it's become a family affair. I've been on Dave because I'm like, you don't do anything with the kids because everybody plays video games. But for the last 2 nights, and tonight was the best. Last night he played Fortnite with Isaac, and I don't want to say you're not a good video game player, Dave.
Yeah, I'm not a good video game player.
But maybe not those kinds of video games.
And so we're playing, I don't know, it's not creative, it's like one-on-one. And so you spawn in this little tiny map, and then you shoot each other. And so I would spawn, you'd kill me. I would spawn, you would kill. And we did that for 2 hours. It was fun.
It was fun. But then tonight, Everett joined in the fray. And Everett played a tournament this week where he finished top 40 in the world. Like, Everett's a good Fortnite player. I mean, he sure as hell should be, because the kid spends his entire day playing Fortnite.
It is what he does.
It's his full-time job right now. And then he played you guys.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, it was hilarious to listen to. I'm making dinner, and the boys are screaming. Isaac's like, "It's not fair! He's ruining the game!" Because Dave's like, he appeared out of nowhere. 1 minute he was in front of me, the next minute he's behind me, and he shot me. I don't even know. So there you go. It was fun.
It was fun.
It's fun to see your boys doing stuff together.
And it's been a while. We used to play Lego, all the Lego games.
You and Everett used to do Halo together.
Yep. Well, I used to play Halo with Everett, and then I would have a gun, and he would have like a sword, and he would only kill me with a sword or like a knife or whatever. Anyway, and at that point,
at that point, you just want to quit.
Yeah.
All right, Luci Buenamatzi. I'm sorry, Luci, if I mispronounced your last name, because I'm sure that was appalling. But I've been waiting to ask a question since last week. He wants to know, he's having trouble with smudging when he's inking. How do I avoid this?
The best way I know is to use a piece of paper and just put it under your hand. I think that is the most effective way. I know Jimmy Reyes, who actually, by the way, if you're still here, Jimmy, hi Jimmy, it's great to have you. I saw him on here just before this started. I saw he made a comment. He uses like this little inking sock that it covers, the first 2 fingers on the hand. It's so you can use something like that can help your hand glide too. So yeah, it's.
I knew I know you use paper for pencil, but I wasn't sure for ink, because I could see if your ink's still theoretically a little bit damp or wet, you would still get smudging if you used a piece of paper. Right.
My favorite way to avoid it though really is using a 2H. This is a 2H lead that I'm using right now.
For inking.
But you're not going to smudge the ink, I don't think.
He's specifically talking about inking. He's having trouble smudging his inks.
Smudging? Oh, okay. Oh, well, yeah. A piece of paper wouldn't help with that. At that point, you really...
For the ink to dry.
Yeah, you would need to be strategic to avoid that. That's really the only way. So you ink a little bit. I used to have more trouble when I was using a quill, because a quill will actually leave a bead of ink that will take forever to dry sometimes. And so that was a problem. But now that I'm using more... my microns and those sorts of pens, it's not really such an issue.
They dry faster.
They dry so fast. I never think about it. And every once in a while with a brush, I'll end up with, I'll smudge it out. It happens, but I try to be good about it.
All right, we have another super chat for $10 from Chow Hein. I'm sorry again. If I mispronounce your last name, I apologize profusely. But Chow says, thanks for the live stream. Longtime fan, David.
Thank you so much for the super chat, Chow.
Could you do a live stream drawing of Aphrodite 9 in the near future?
Oh, yes. I'm doing it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually.
And I haven't drawn Aphrodite for...
I can't even remember last time.
It's been a while.
Aphrodite 9. It has been a long time. So.
It's been too long.
All right. I'm going back through the stream, because really, by the time we get to the end of the stream, there's no questions. So I want to make sure everybody front loads the questions. So if you feel like I haven't read your question or seen your question, I want you to know that I'm going to try to get it. I obviously won't get to every question, but I am better. At least I have live chat instead of top chat. So there's that.
There's that.
Trainer Simp says, I DM'd you on Instagram and I never got a response. Trainer Simp, he does not respond to DMs on Instagram.
Yeah, sorry, apologies. Yeah.
So if you're trying to get hold of Dave, go through the website, but if you DM him on Instagram, you're never going to get a response.
I don't check it, truthfully.
That's true. He's lucky he checks email. So, if he checks email. But at least if you email, I might see it and forward the message.
Yeah, and to be totally honest, I love doing this. This has been incredible. This whole experience with YouTube, and you know, but at the same time, I'm still working full time. I'm not, you know, retired from comics and just doing YouTube or whatever. And so,
and Meredith's always like cracking the whip. I mean, none of you can see it on this live stream, but there's actually an anklet and a chain that goes from Dave's ankle to the desk. And
very
I come
true.
down, I let him free when it's time for dinner, after dinner, and for times like this, we come back down, I lock him in. I mean, the mortgage has got to get paid.
It's got to get paid. Yeah, so it's always a real challenge to try and balance. Like with the YouTube videos, I really want to respond to, you know, comments and that kind of thing, and I try very hard to do that. But sorry, just let me quickly. I try really hard to do that, and I've been pretty good about that. But yeah, even that can be a bit of a challenge at times. Just to, you know, like today I had a cover I had to finish. I had 2 other covers that I had to do layouts for and get those turned in, and I think both of those are probably already a little bit late. I've got a statue that I'm designing that I'm also...
I might have, FYI, seen an email from an editor today asking if you got the reference for the cover that's due.
I sent in... What time did you see the...
I saw it tonight.
Oh yeah, okay.
Did you send in both layouts?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I did get... I got reference.
Okay, perfect.
We're good.
All right, good. All right, we got a super chat question from Greg L for $2.
Thank you very much, Greg,
for the super chat. Greg wants you to know you are great with this pose. It feels impossible for him. What's the secret to that pose, Dave?
Gosh, I don't know the secret to it. Let's see. So I've got my shape for my chest, and that's basically, it's going to be this kind of a shape here. This is not going to be perfect because... Okay, so, and this is where your arms will come out. And so I've got my head here. Well, I know I've got like a center line that goes here. This is going to be where one arm goes out here. The other arm goes here. My head, my neck is going to be here. And so my head projects out from the neck. You don't want to just draw the head right in the middle there. You want it to actually come off the neck here. And then I've got my stomach here. Well, here, because it's coming out of the bottom of it, I'm just for shortening it like this, and then my arms, you know, come off like this, and you know, so that's how I would approach it. And you've got your collarbone that comes like this. So you really want to think about your neck, even if you don't see the neck in the picture. You want to think about the fact that your neck is there and put the head on top of the neck.
All right, sorry, I'm scrolling back through to make sure I pick up where I left off. Well, I'm scrolling back through. Nielsen Bogart says, you're a serious inspiration, man. I've been following your work for years, and it's honestly helped me progress.
Oh, thank you, Nielsen.
And we have a super chat for $20. Thank you so much from John Washam.
Well, thank you. And John is a new super chatter, so thank you very much. I appreciate it, John.
And John says, you are amazing with an emoji and dancing. I love those. I'm sorry, I can't keep myself. I just get like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I don't know how you do that. I'm sure there's a way.
Well, clearly there.
It's beyond me, really. Like I could text.
Yeah.
That's the extent of my, you know.
At least you got that. Yeah, actually, I would say you probably do more than I can. Although I'm getting better, I'm learning how to do. You know, we talked.
You did this, and you did Premiere Pro.
That's right, Premiere Pro. Yeah, that's been a struggle. My Premiere, I did a video this week. I just did it was textures this week, and my Premiere Pro crashed like 5 times doing that thing. So you know.
I'm so glad we got that.
Yeah, $50 a month. There you go.
Let's move on to something positive. Like Jamal Rashid asking you, I love your drawings. What tips can you give a person that wants to improve his skills? Because I'm really struggling with the hip connection to the legs.
Let me draw this arm and then I will show you the way that I approach it. So I'm very kind of loosely just throwing everything in here just to get some kind of placement, you know, boom, boom, boom. The nice thing about a pencil especially is I can really not worry about making everything make tons of sense. I'm going to put like a wall here. And I'm putting a wall there because it frames the picture and also because I don't want to draw this whole guy. So.
And we have a super chat from Jordan Seward while you're doing that for $6.99. Thank you so much, Jordan. And he says, I'll thank him even more. Dave and Meredith, you're doing awesome with engaging us. Yay!
Well, thank you very much for the super chat and for, you know.
And also, John said it was just a super chat option, so, you know, he's being all modest with the dancing emoji, but...
But it's pretty cool.
It was pretty freaking cool, John.
Okay, right. So we're talking about hips connecting hips. And, well, you know what? Pencil's a little broken here.
And then you might as well leave that page up because I have a super chat question when you're done with your hips to legs.
Okay.
We might be here all...
That's all right.
It's not all right, actually.
These are actually really good questions. And
they are. See, I try to like make sure we have good questions that maybe haven't been every week.
Okay.
What's your question? So there we go.
Loomis method, sort of.
Hips to legs.
So here's my my pelvis, and you've got a hole here, and this would be basically my pelvis shape from basically the front. From behind, I'll draw it over here. I make sure I'm well in the... This would be the same shape from behind, obviously a little bigger. And from the side, it would just look like this. And so the way that Loomis does is he'll connect, he's got basically a bar coming out here, a ball. He actually draws like a whole disc for it's a disc. I don't do the disc. That never really, and then the bone actually comes from here. And so from behind.
Really, if you want to know how to do it, you should watch the video I posted with the pictures of me drawing legs.
There you go, yeah. So there we go from behind. And so now this isn't practically how I do it though. This is really the theory behind it. Here's my ball here. So, but in practical terms, I'm gonna, another piece of paper. All right, in practical terms, I've got my stomach.
You need computer paper. You use expensive paper to do this.
I know I do. Actually, it's true. Okay, so I've got my chest shape, basically my stomach. So I know that I've got my hip basically here and here. I don't draw in the hole. And so I make sure that my leg connects to that line there. And then my other leg connects out to that line here. And so if I bend my legs, this is going to end up, I could do this all night. And I actually really should have covered this more. I did a leg video and I could have...
You know what this would make?
What? Of course. Okay. So anyway, so I've got my hip bone here. So I'm going to draw my tube coming from my hip bone right there. And then my other hip bone is here. If I want to put that leg back, I'll draw it from there. And so you can see there's my stomach. That's how you can make sure that it's actually connecting properly and it all makes sense.
We'll have Dave do a Udemy video on this.
One day. All right.
It's Udemy. Oh, and then our super chat question. I told you don't put your paper away.
Oh, okay.
Because I said there was going to be another schedule.
Okay.
This super chat is from Doc Matthews for $10. Thank you so much, Doc.
Yes, thank you, Doc.
Doc Matthews says, Dave, help! I'm good with typical easy lighting angles on muscles, but please show me an example or two of how you shadow the awkward lighting angles on muscles.
Oof, now that is a tougher one to...
Because, I mean, the question, what would be an awkward lighting angle?
Any awkward lighting angle is, let's say you have your chest and you get really used to, you know, here's basically your chest shape. You get really used to lighting it like this, and here's your rib cage below it. And I'm going really loose because it's a bit of a long question, actually. It's not something that's so easy to cover. Okay, so here we go. And that's pretty easy because you do that all the time. But if you're going to light it from below, that is an awkward angle. And so the only real way you can find a reference, it's tough because, look, I generally don't actually even bother trying to find reference for things that are really strange like that, because I don't have all day to be searching through a million comics trying to find the one guy that did that light. So I just have really no choice but to go by my rules. So I'm going to light it from here. And so I know this shape rounds like this. So this part of it here is going to be dark. The upper part of my chest is going to be dark. There's a bit of an indent here. That'll be dark. I want this to be dark because it's away from the light up here. Back of my arm here will be dark. And I just run through the body, basically going through, and I also need to make sure. So if I have like a striation and it's lit from above, it'll be more flat up here, and then they'll go like this. And I'll draw another one here like this. Now, if I'm lighting it from below, it would have to go like this. Because you're lighting everything from below, and that is a mind screw. And I have to say that a lot of times when I draw something like this, I end up actually turning my paper upside down just to get an angle that I'm more comfortable with. And so any awkward lighting like that, you really have no choice but to just go through. And then what you want to do,
you take pictures too.
Sometimes, not for lighting generally, but
not for lighting.
No,
like
just
you do that for folds and
yeah.
stuff.
I was going to say something.
Well, sorry I interrupted you. You said that's a mind screw, and you put
Yes.
the page upside down.
And then it's right. I turn the page upside down. Oh, right. And the other thing to bear in mind is, you really need to rely on your knowledge, and that is, if you have an overall form that you're lighting, and you need to make sure to keep all your shadows away from the light around the back of where the light isn't on the form, in any place where the form is facing the light, keep it light. And if you're very aware of that, it should hold together. It's tough though. It really is. Like, there's no way around the fact that you really do learn, as much as lighting is its theory. You learn shorthand like anything, and when you get comfortable with that shorthand and you have to break it, it can be challenging.
So I have to apologize to Corey Adams because I missed 2 super chats from him.
Oh, sorry, Corey.
$1, and he didn't have a question. He just wanted to throw out a super chat at us.
Oh well, thank you very much, Corey.
You rock. I'm so sorry I missed your super chat. My computer screen's not that big, and it fills up with I'm trying to get rid of Dave drawing because who wants to see Dave draw? Really? Nobody. Not 528 people, certainly. But, so there you go. The chat section on my screen, I'm sure there are people who can help me with this. This freaking ignore is tiny compared to my entire screen. So, there you go. Maybe if I, full screened, I don't even know. I just don't want to mess with it.
You know what? I'm going to be doing his face here for just a little bit, so I'm going to come in. Yeah.
Okay. And then, Luci Bonamisi, who again, I butchered his last name, wanted to say, thank you for answering my question, David. You drew a fantastic Batman versus Bane for me several years ago at Fan Expo Toronto. If you recall, I showed you an Alex Sinclair colored them. All the best.
Yes, I do remember. Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you. And thank you for coming and watching the super chat. I appreciate it. Or now I'm so used to saying super chat because I say thank you for the super chat.
Oh, no. But thanks for coming
and watching the stream.
And then we have another super chat. No comment, just some cool sunglasses, shades, emojis from People Circus for £99 for I don't know how to do this. It's not 99 pounds, but it's 0.99 cents. What's a pound? What's a cent of a pound?
So anyway, Wolverine's head.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
There you go.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Very much
Super
appreciate
chat, basically $1. Let's call it $1. Let's call it $1 again. And then a $5 super chat, which is from SCF Powerlifting in the house. Thank you so much, SCS.
Thank you.
Your $5 super chat.
And hopefully he notices I got the name right. I think this time it's right. It was the way it was supposed to be.
What?
last time I called it Monday Night Live, and this time I called it Monday Night Draw, which is what he actually...
It's so funny because I called it Monday Night Live because you did.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Monday Night Draw. So, Rondra, I love Monday nights, he says.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you.
And then we have another super chat. This from Doc Matthews. This time for $20.
Well, thank you so much, Doc.
Doc Matthews, because he has another question. Thanks so much for answering my question. So good of an answer. Any chance before you over-render this page?
Hey!
You could shade it from an unconventional angle.
Oh no, and it's too late.
Did you start rent?
I did. I've already got it lit. So
let's do Aphrodite 9 and you have to render Aphrodite 9.
Absolutely not. Aphrodite 9, female drawing. If I start going really unconventional with the lighting, we'll have a mess. So all right. The one after that, I will do it. It'll, you know what? I think it'd actually be a really great way.
Because sometimes you'll come up and you're like, oh my gosh, I had like the hardest time with the lighting today.
Yeah.
Because you picked you had like lighting from 2 sources and.
Well, this one's going to be 2 sources, but it actually really is something I'm pretty familiar with, so I should be fine. But yeah, I'll do that, and you guys can all watch me really fall on my face because you know it could be very difficult.
It's good to see a genius struggle.
Hey, oh no, that was a compliment.
It was like a bad.
I'm so
it was
used
like
to,
an ass backward compliment.
I'm so used to getting the shots. I'm like my back is up, waiting for it.
I know somebody earlier texted that it was like, what's the Tom Cruise Nicole Kidman movie?
Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, Eyes Wide Shut at the Finch household because I said I shackled you to your desk.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah, I also I'm not always like snarky with you.
No, you're fine.
Too. I'm very nice. Anyway, we have another super chat from Michael Johnson Curry. Michael in the house tonight. Good to see you, Michael. Michael, I'm not cool. I'm sorry. Is that like so cringy? I know Everett would say, stop. Just stop. But anyway, Michael had a $10 super chat, and he wants to know if you've ever dealt with publishers not paying, even with contracts I've done work, even under contract, who refused to pay or ignored me. One even telling me if I go to court, they had more money than me.
Wow. I am so
awful.
Sorry. Yeah, that's terrible.
That's terrible. If you do the work, you should get paid.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. That's terrible. I started at Top Cow, and from there I went to Marvel, and from there I went to DC, and now I'm with Marvel and DC. And
I don't think anybody's going to say that you haven't. There are times. Okay, look, I'm going to just say this. I want to say this in a diplomatic way. That the industry in which we work at times creates opportunities for people to sometimes take advantage of people who are looking to do work. I would say 99% of the people in the industry are very genuine and good-hearted, but in all industries,
yes, it's
there
too
are
bad.
People who will take advantage,
and
just to pretend that we have been immune to that would be false.
I've done art and sent it in and never gotten it back. That's happened not that long ago, and not even a hey, can I keep the? Just never got it back. Thanks. And my first job, actually, I started at Top Cow, but when I got hired, it was that very same weekend. I got a call, or I guess it would have been a call. There was no email then, from another company. It was a small company, and I did a cover for them, and they never paid. So I did. That happened one time, and I just got very, very lucky. I mean, Top Cow is, it's Mark Silvestri, and he's about as straight-laced, as good a human being as there is in comics. So it was just not really.
So you were really.
I was very fortunate. Yes, I was very blessed.
And we've been fortunate, but Michael, I don't want you to think that if something's happened and you're not getting paid, that you're the exception, because you're not.
Oh yeah, no,
and I would say that there's probably not an artist in the industry who hasn't experienced.
Yeah, at least one time.
At least once.
And really, I started out as an intern for a pretty established company and a very well respected, for good reason, artist. So, I didn't really run into that. But if you're starting and it's all freelance work and it's a lot of different people, it's going to happen. Unfortunately, it reminds me of the AC/DC song. It's a long road to the top. If I'm not going to sing. Anyway, it's a tough business.
We have another super chat from Corey Adams for $2. Thank you so much for your super chat.
Thank you very much, Corey.
Corey says, "Hey Dave, what are some of your favorite metal albums?" That's something positive.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's rage music, so it just makes me freaking angry as hell when I get in the car and I'm like, turn that off. I can't get. But you feel the same about my music, so.
I do. Yeah, I have to have it off as fast as I possibly can. Okay, you know what? My favorite one right now, and maybe even of all time right now, is Megadeth. Symphony of Destruction. Is that right? Oh man, my memory is the worst. It's a big one.
I thought you were gonna say Charm City Devils.
I like that one lately, yeah. But yeah, I love Megadeth. You know, I kind of got away from Megadeth for a while, and I'm really very much into it again. Rammstein has a new song out that I absolutely love.
We like Sound of Silence.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Sound of Silence.
That one. That's Disturbed.
Yep. Oh gosh, you know, every single Metallica album before Black. Especially, I would say my favorite Metallica album would have to be Kill 'Em All. I think it's their first album. I used to be really, really into Celtic Frost. And bear in mind, you know, this is all 80s. Pantera. Oh, you know what? For album, like another one, Tool. I'm saying Tool. I'm sure everybody here knows the album. I'm the worst with names. It's especially one album though
it was from like the 90s.
Yeah, Anima or anyway.
Yeah. Let's move on from that question.
If I had
comics, because we have another super chat. See how I did that?
Yep. It's a nice segue. Thank you.
I thought that was good. From Indie Comics Cast, gave us a $9.99 super chat, and he said, "Please consider doing an indie online Comic-Con in the future. I have built a platform to highlight indie creators and would love to have a legend help bring attention to their work. Thank you, Joe."
Yeah, I think that's actually...
Period. Joe. Not like me saying thank you,
right.
Joe, but like Joe is saying
yes,
thank you.
Got it. Yeah, well, you know, and I think that's a great idea for you because so much of what you're doing is, I mean, it's indie comics, you know? It's not Marvel and DC. It's stuff that is a little bit harder to find. You have to pre-order it and, you know...
Almost all of it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that, you know, anything to support that kind of work. And that's where all of the up and coming... I'm going to zoom back out since I'm kind of moving around here. I'm going to end up off the screen all the time again.
Yeah, you did, like last week.
Yeah. All right. Was I off the screen a lot last week?
I don't know. Again.
Okay, and you know, I'm asking. I did
543 people here to watch you draw. I'm not one of them. I'm here for
you know, okay, there you go.
I can do that. I'm here for the chat.
Yep.
I'm here for the people. Speaking of which, Thaddeus has a super chat for $1.99. He wants to know, how do you sell fan art without getting in trouble?
Well, thank you so much, Thaddeus. And you don't have to worry about it at all. You can sell fan art. They will not touch you. Where you will have trouble, and honestly, I would have the same trouble. It's not like it would be any different. I can sell prints at conventions, and they will leave me alone because I work there. Usually they're pretty good at leaving everybody alone. Every once in a while, like there was a time, Marvel or DC or whatever, somebody would come in and they would take things really seriously and they would go, to a booth and say, oh, you can't sell this stuff and you have to have a license. Generally speaking, they leave you alone, and you can't sell stuff online. Like I couldn't, for instance, make a print of this Wolverine picture and sell it online because it's Marvel's copyright, the character. But and I guess maybe theoretically they would have like a legal standing to stop me from drawing it at all if it's not directly for them. But I don't know the law, but I can certainly tell you that they don't exercise it in that way. So you don't have to worry about that at all. Really, they try to protect their licensees. It's very important. But they also really respect the artistic community. I mean, the fans are the lifeblood of everything that we do, but the artists working on the books are also.
Are your cameras out of sync?
Are they? Somebody asked?
Yes, RM said weird how the cameras are out of sync. So let's hope that, can people let us know if the cameras are out of sync? And then I also have to say thank you to Eric Grove Art. who's pushing for everybody to like and subscribe so we can get you to 50,000 subscribers. How awesome would that be?
Yeah, for sure. And it seems like we're getting there pretty quick. I mean, I hit 40 like a day, 2 days ago. We're already almost at 42. I think it might even be there now. So,
no, it's no,
but yeah,
let's go.
It's going fast. Yeah, thank you,
Eric. You guys
Eric.
are awesome.
And like I said before, and actually, I'm going to talk to Eric about that this week. I'm going to figure out a way to do an art giveaway when we hit 50. So we'll figure out some method for making it as fair and, you know
who I'm going to talk to? I feel like there's just an artist who just did an art giveaway. Mark something, maybe. Oh, crap. He's a big artist too. He just did an art giveaway.
You say Mark Brooks, I'm thinking, or you say Mark, I'm thinking Mark Brooks. That's like the one that jumped into my head.
Yeah, it might be Mark Brooks. Just somebody tell me, did Mark Brooks just do an art giveaway and they had a problem because a bunch of people like spammed the giveaway?
Well, this is what I'm worried about. Is
fake things.
I want it to be as fair as it can be, and I don't know how to do that, and I'm really afraid of it turning into something that becomes negative. But I'm sure we will find a way. It'll all work out. It will be fair as we can possibly make it, and it won't be the last one. Unless it's a total disaster, and then I'll just run for the hills and hide.
Oh, Page One's comic said his cameras are freezing a bit, but they're having a storm. If you're on the East Coast and the cameras are freezing, I can't help you.
That's Jimmy.
Page One Comics is Jimmy?
We've had... Seriously.
I can't. Like, pretend I'm going to remember. We can pretend. Jimmy, love you. But we can pretend I'm going to remember. Some days I can't even remember who I'm talking to when I'm talking to the kids and the dog.
Yeah,
like, I'm talking to Everett. And I call, we can't even remember that the new dog is not the old dog. The old dog that's been dead for 1.5 years. So, Jimmy, I love you, but probably.
We had that that same exchange like 2 weeks ago.
Did we?
Yes.
Awesome. Love you. Not a person DM'd you about your cameras, David.
Oh, okay.
So, because I think Not a Person DM'd you about helping you with like the stream and stuff. So, you need to get back to Not a Person.
Yes, and thank you for that.
Because Not a Person has been here every week.
Yes, he has. That's right.
There's buffering,
from the beginning.
Yes.
There's buffering. I want to see where I am at the... Now, I've got my settings adjusted. Here it says I'm in good condition. Well, apologies for that, guys. I've got my settings adjusted as well as I could possibly
Don't you guys have some kind of like hurricane coming to the States? Maybe like I'm the first one to say it's me, not you, but maybe tonight it's you, not me.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, we'll do our best. And by that, I mean I'm helpless. Hopefully it will work out.
Oh, Jim Lee does a lot of giveaways on his stream. It always seems, this is from Anthony Gee. Thank you, Anthony. It always seems pretty honest and gracious. That's Twitch, though, so I'm not sure where the mechanics would be here. Well, we'll try. We will try to figure it out. And
you know what?
I have more of the chat.
Maybe I can email him and say, hey, what are you doing with that?
Yeah,
like, how's that working?
Jim. Ask him how he does it.
Yeah.
It's not like you couldn't reach out.
Yeah, no, I'll just do that.
All right. I'm scrolling back because people got questions.
All right.
Welcome Sheldon Martin, who just got here. He's going to have to catch the first hour later. Over coffee tomorrow. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, thank you for coming, Sheldon.
It was Mark Brooks. Chris Thorne Art said yes, it was him. It was only one person who used to be on the list, but his wife Lisa was able to fix the issue.
Okay.
See, look at me up on my comic book news. You know why? Facebook.
Yeah, there you go.
Facebook. I don't know what Justin Trudeau said today, but I could tell you that Mark Brooks gave away a piece of comic original artwork, and he had problems. So,
well,
while I might not know what the Wolverine costume is, don't think that I don't have my priorities.
There you go.
Straight.
And you know what? I'm perfectly willing to weather some problems with it to make it happen. I think it's worth it. But yeah, I do expect that it might be a little bit. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
All right. La, la, la. Project Zero. Hey, Dave and Meredith, big fan of you guys. Hey, Project Zero. I feel like he said we were a cute couple earlier on, but his question right now, which I appreciate, is how do you know where the shades go on that fabric?
Okay, well, he's got a dark center portion to his costume. It's like a leather, I guess it wouldn't be a leather, but it's dark. And then the outsides here are lighter, and I've got it lit overall from up here, and then I've got a secondary light just coming in from the side, smaller. It's a lighting that I use pretty frequently because I really like being able to it just gives the lighting a bit of a kick, you know, a little bit of an extra dimension.
We have another super chat question from Thaddeus for $4.99. Thank you so much, Thaddeus.
Yes, thank you, Thaddeus.
His question is, are there any comic book companies out there who hire graphic designers? By the way, you're the best, David.
Well, thank you so much, Thaddeus. Yeah, I would say absolutely, but to be hired as a graphic designer, that would be a staff job. It's not something they would freelance out. So, you know, if you were really interested in working for Marvel or DC, you'd really need to live there, truthfully, and I'm sure they would have job postings, that kind of thing. That is a little bit outside of my expertise. Well, completely, 100% outside, but I do know that that's a job that would go to somebody that works on staff in-house.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, we have Black Manic Arts. Hello from Nova Scotia. Love you and your work, David, but really love hearing you and Meredith having fun and teasing each other. Keep it up.
Thank you so much.
Are you family? Because we have family out there.
Where was he?
Oh, it's Nova Scotia. Could be less. It could be your sister in disguise.
She's in PEI right now.
No.
If for those of you that are not Canadian, that's Prince Edward Island. And they're still like, where? You know, but it's part of Canada.
And we just love Canada, so all Canada's family. There you go.
Yeah.
And then Gabrielle Sepulveda asked, Meredith, I tried ordering the Book of Ruth through previews, but my local comic book shop had no idea what I was talking about. Is it too late, or is there somewhere out there I can find it? Okay, first of all, it's not too late, because I'm pretty sure it doesn't even hit comic book shops until September. So I posted on my Facebook a link to the previews for the publisher is Cave Pictures Publishing. I don't even know what to say because they're like super small independent publisher. But if you want to order a copy of the Book of Ruth, I will repost the link on my Facebook and on Twitter this week so that people, if you want to get it. So Gabriella, that will help you if you want to get a copy of it. And I do think, like, it's so beautiful. I'm so proud of that book. I wish I could have offered the variant covers through the comic book shops, but you know, maybe someday at a convention. Because like Lee Weeks did a variant, which is stunning.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Jason Fabok did this beautiful variant for it. Billy Tucci, and of course Dave did an incredible variant. Not to mention the cover, like the original cover. That book I love so much.
Yeah.
We'll have to do another Kickstarter and just offer it as like, hey, you can get a copy of the Book of Ruth from.
Actually, you know what? That's really
as a bonus.
Not a bad idea at all.
It actually might be happening.
Yeah.
On a Kickstarter, not run by me, but by a company that I'm working for. But you won't know about that till maybe September. I didn't drop like a hint of something that might be upcoming. Instead, I'm going to roll into the next two super chats. We have one that is $5 New Zealand dollars from Dean HNZ, and there's no comment, just a $5 super chat.
Well, thank you, Dean.
So thank you so much, Dean.
And thank you for coming and watching, and enjoying Monday night.
Well, and it might actually be Tuesday night over there because they're 24 hours ahead of us, I think, or almost 18. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what New Zealand is.
Me neither, but yeah, it definitely wouldn't be 8:53 at night.
On a Monday.
On a Monday.
Definitely, first of all, it's definitely not Monday in New Zealand. It's for sure Tuesday.
I'm gonna give him a couple holes in his costume. Is it even a costume if it doesn't have holes in it?
Not if it's Wolverine.
Nope.
Because, if he's clean, he ain't Wolverine. Did you see how I did that? I'm so good. That's why I'm the writer in the family. All right. We have another super chat. Dave's like, oh my gosh, somebody help me. And Richard Stoltz is going to help you with the next super chat for $6.99. Richard says, how do the rules of perspective differ between people, animals, and inanimate objects?
They don't at all. The rules of perspective are inviolate.
So, if you can draw a square in perspective, which I can do that, Richard.
Check this out.
Then you can draw a person in perspective?
So I'm not going to draw all my perspective lines for this, but what I am going to do is draw, a square try and make it at least somewhat in perspective. And then if I put a person there, he's also going to be in perspective, in the same perspective as my square. And if I draw, you know, like a horse.
Yeah, because you know your wife likes horses.
Yeah. Somewhat of a horse. This is the worst.
Well, we all know who I'm not getting to draw my next horse picture.
There you go. Here's my horse. He would be in, so one foot would be here, the other foot, so it'd be in perspective the same way. So yeah, they follow the same rules, and that's how you make a panel look like it all fits together, is you use the same perspective. So yeah, there's no difference at all.
Perfect. All right, next question from Thaddeus, which is a super chat question for $3.99. Thaddeus wants to know who your favorite character is to draw.
Okay, well, Batman, Wolverine, Moon Knight, Lobo. Right now it's Wolverine because I'm drawing Wolverine. I haven't drawn him for a little bit. I miss him.
You love Wolverine.
I love Wolverine. If there's a book that I could do at Marvel, I would love to do a run on Wolverine at some point. I don't know if that would ever happen. I just, you know, I'm doing a create your own comic right now that is outrageously rewarding. I'm doing covers. I kind of see myself, to be totally honest, maybe just sticking with creator owned and doing covers, you know, so I might not, but I don't know if I could go the rest of my life not drawing superheroes like in a monthly comic. So at some point I'd love to do it. It's just priorities.
All right. Then I have another super chat question from Doc Matthews. Thank you so much, Doc Matthews. This is a $10 super chat from Doc.
Thank you very much,
Doc.
Doc.
Might be our super chat winner of the night. Doc wants to know, when you do a great sketch and begin to render, how or when do you choose to let go of some of your best lines in the figure? I tend to keep too much and want to be more Frank Miller, bracket, or Dave Finch.
Okay, well, I'm lighting this figure completely. Just, you'll notice there's no rendering at all, and actually this could be a finished piece of art with no rendering, and by rendering I mean line work, you know. And I went through a period of my career where I was only putting a tiny little bit of rendering on top of something exactly like this, and this holds together, and it's fine. There's really no reason to need to put anything more on it. I just like it. I really like all that extra little detail. I feel like it adds a texture, and you know, I can do things with it. So I will say I get carried away, and the only way to avoid getting carried away that I know of is to just do it a lot and then learn from experience, you know.
I would say that looking back over the 15 years I've known you and sort of been witness to your art in all of its forms and expressions, the place that you get most carried away tends to be the places you're least comfortable. For example, painting. Yeah. And not inking now, but I think when you first started inking. Yeah,
things get really away from me. And, you know, there's a saying, well, I don't know a saying, but basically, you know, detail is what you do when you don't know what you're doing. And that is not untrue, you know. You don't know what you're doing, so you just put a million little things over it to kind of distract from the fact that you don't know what you're doing. But the way
to learn and know what you're doing is to do it.
And you know, some of the best artists out there do very simple art, and they don't rely on that. But I really like all that detail. I don't, you know, yeah, I could draw it just like this and leave it alone. I like all that little extra stuff. I really enjoy it. It's a big part of, you know, when I got into comics, it was the image stuff that got me in, and that made me interested in it, and that's the kind of work they were doing, and that's the kind of work I wanted to do, and I've always wanted to do, and I'm never growing up, so I'll put my little lines everywhere. But I would say make sure that what you're doing holds up this way before, you know, if you need to render it in order for it to save the picture, then it's not really all that savable. You want it to be something that holds together, just in terms of, that reminds me.
No, don't do the book of the week yet. Because I'm
Okay.
gonna segue in there.
A couple minutes, we'll do the. Okay. You can't segue into something I already blew.
No, I know, but so listen, because I've got another super chat question from Jazz Deep Singh, which I think really ties into the question that you just answered.
Okay.
Which is, hey Dave, is it possible to over-render smaller panel drawings, or is simplifying better for smaller panels, or switching from inks to learning over from inking to learning pencils? He's switching over from inking to learning pencils.
I would highly recommend that pencils, if you're not comfortable with pencils, my opinion is you're better off to just pencil, because it's a skill unto itself, and it's not something you want to leave off and worry about trying to make your inks work. Like, I think stick with one thing and master one thing as well as you can. I mean, it's impossible to master. I remember, I'm going to go on a total tangent, but I remember when I was trying to break in, when I first started drawing, I remember thinking, you know what, I'll learn how to draw arms, and then I will know how to draw arms and I'll be done. That's it. And then I'll learn all these different things, and then the rest of my career I'll just be able to do it, and I've got that covered. And I was so naive, because there's always a way to do it better. There's always techniques and ways to turn forms and just different things that you can do that make things work better. And I've been chasing that for years and years. And anyway,
Speaking of which, drawing arms, there's somebody on the chat, I can't remember, he's Nicholas Zadvinsky, who really wants to do an arm tutorial.
Okay, it's coming.
So Nicholas, I put it out there. You're gonna get the arm tutorial. Now we're gonna do the book of the week, and then I'm gonna get back to the super chat questions.
Okay.
Because we have 2 in the queue.
Okay, well, let me do this. So here's my book of the week, and it is Slain. Also, well, it's 2, because I can't do Simon Bisley and not do the 2 books that are like the biggest for me. And the reason why I really wanted to pick these is because this stuff, I would say more than any other artist, is the basis for my anatomy. And Simon Bisley, this is older work now, and this one's painted, the other one's not. But I want to show you the actual panel, and I bent the page to, well, here, first of all, take a look at that arm. I have copied that arm a million times, and it is so incredibly great. And people say, how do you draw your arms? Well, I copied them from Simon Bisley and this kind of thing. And this is really not, strictly speaking, I'm sure perfectly correct anatomically, but it looks incredible. And try and find reference anywhere that looks anything like that from life. You just can't do it. Or at least I certainly couldn't. There's another page. Look at that one. Now, this is a bit of a crazy figure, but he's going through like a transformation, and just the lighting, I've copied that face so many times. It's so, not only does it have a real reality to it, and it just has so much depth to it, but it's also, he has the skill of Frank Frazetta to take things and break things down into really good solid shapes. Like, each shape connects well with the shapes around it and is a good shape unto itself, like everything that's going on with that leg. And the reason why his anatomy looks so incredible, even if it gets a little wild, like that stomach is nothing like anatomy. It's not intended to be for this picture, but it's because these are all, you can see these are shapes that all have a beginning and end and interlock and go together and fit with the lighting. Anyway, I want to move on, if I can find it here. Here it is. So years ago, when I was first starting, I was looking at some Simon Bisley stuff, and I copied that leg right there. And that, more than anything, is the basis for how I do all of my lighting on my anatomy. And I want to actually show you on a piece of paper what I mean. And I'm moving a million things trying to get this set up, but let's see if I can. Okay. So here's the leg, and I was trying to do an image kind of style at the time, and it was more of a, you would do like a shadow like this and then render out from it and then do this kind of a thing. I couldn't make it work. I hated it. But Simon Bisley, if you look at, he's got actually this is the hip bone right here, and the way he's defined it with that little bit of a hook right there, oh, look at how great that looks. Just, and all of his shapes are very jagged. It's not overly lit even, really. It's actually, he's got a lot of restraint with his shadowing, but what he does put down just has, it's a nice hard shape down here, It's got another shape kind of over like this, and really the actual placement I'm already kind of going off, because the actual placement isn't even really the important thing. It's the way he's connecting his shapes with this stuff. And so yes, this right here, so yeah, studying this and going through this book, here's another great figure here. Now I want to show you his black and white work. It actually in some ways might be a little easier to follow because it's black and white and it's not all painted, but the way he did the stomach here, there are some, this one unfortunately I didn't bookmark. I should have. Look at that arm though. And I would really recommend like that figure right there is just bananas. It's incredible. And I love the way he's cast a shadow. He's got his rounded shadow, but he's actually casting a shadow below it. And as it goes further from the light, it's actually casting even further out. And he's not photo referencing this. This is all just because he's a genius. It's ridiculously good stuff. And yeah, so much stuff that I've gotten has been from this book. When it comes to anatomy, arms, you'll actually notice that Jay Lee, some of his first work he was doing Namor, took a lot of stuff from this too. There's actually a figure, this figure right here, you can find a Namor by Jay Lee, not to call out Jay Lee, because I mean it's his own picture, he didn't completely cut, but you know, it just has so much character to it.
Jay Lee after Bisley.
After Bisley, years and years ago. And yeah, it's like the way he's defined all of his rib cage and all this stuff in the arm. It's just I don't know another artist that ever did this kind of thing better, and I'm still a huge fan, and I still look at it from time to time. It still is a huge underpinning for my art. All right. So I really recommend this book. Moving on.
We had time for me to go upstairs, refill.
I can hear, yeah, in the background. Go, okay.
Moving on to the super chat questions. See, this is the problem with the book of this week. Oh my gosh, I'm so far past the super chats. Like I've got super chats that I've lost.
My fault, sorry.
It's your fault. I feel like there was a super chat. How do I get back? How do I go back? I don't want top chat. I want the live chat. There we go. Then all messages are visible, so I can go back. Now I can scroll back. All right, here we go. Scrolling back. Thaddeus has a super chat question for $3.99. He wants to know, Dave, what is the tape on your pencil? Masking tape. Yeah.
Just more comfortable.
And then we have a super chat from Black Manic Arts, because he just thank you for your super chat, Black Manic Arts.
Yes, thank you very much.
Canadian. And he just reiterated.
Canadian, he's, oh wait.
I am from Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia, that's right.
Since Black Manic, who I said, I feel like he has to be family.
Yep.
So now he's just trying to be part of the family by super chatting us. Love your work, David, and love hearing you and Meredith teasing each other lightheartedly. Thank you so much for being with us, Black Manic Arts.
Yes, thank you very much.
I just want to say, as I'm scrolling down to a few more super chat questions, we are back over 600 people watching.
Oh, that's great. On a Monday.
Fabulous.
I'm
on a
thrilled.
Monday.
That is great.
You know, the last few weeks have been kind of a little bit, you know, there's been like...
Well, we had some technical issues, and then switching to Monday.
And we switched to Monday, so it's nice to have everybody back.
It is.
And have the stream back up again. Not that we don't love having, but to be over 600 is a good number to be over. Yeah. Now tell all your friends so we can hit 700. Because I don't have...
Because it's never enough.
It's never enough. There's a song actually from The Greatest Showman, which is so good. I love it.
You don't...
I won't inflict it on you.
Oh, people. Man.
I know, Dave, you know.
That was beyond my...
oh my gosh,
I have to draw the line. I couldn't watch that.
I want to sing that song right now.
Oh, I never saw that movie. I saw pieces.
Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Yeah, no, that's not for me.
The stream is going to tell you to watch it.
They're not.
They are. The stream's going to tell you to watch it.
They're on my side.
They're not. They're on my side. That's why it's Monday Night Draw with Meredith. And we have a super chat from Jerome Sean Cook for $4.99. Thank you. And Jerome didn't have a question.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Jerome. Thanks for the support.
Thank you so much, Jerome. We appreciate it. He's trying to get Dave unshackled. Maybe there's no amount of super chat that will get Dave unshackled from the desk.
Here's the problem. She could, you know, unshackle me, and I would just, you know, walk back to the table and start working. And what else am I going to do? This is what I like doing.
There's not actually a shackle.
No, I think everybody knows that, but yeah, no, this is what I love doing. It's what I do. You know, I play video games and I ride my motorcycle, and I've been playing golf horribly. I got a 140 this week in golf. My score 140. For any of you that have golf, I know you're thinking, wow, is that even possible? It's possible. But
and that's the first time he was comfortable keeping score.
Actually, it's not. I got a 127 a couple weeks ago, but I'm working on my swing, so it's so much worse, but anyway, 140. So I'm going again on Wednesday, and I'm hoping to crack.
He's bragging, people.
Yeah. Any of you that aren't familiar with golf, I could tell you that,
140 is like...
90 is for, a decent golfer. If you have a handicap, you would be around 90. That would be average. And that is like not a great golfer. It's just somebody that golfs. So yeah, 140. It's actually tough to hit the ball that many times.
We love you, not because of how good you are at golf.
Well, and the people I golf with also, and I have a rule. We golf. I don't chase my balls. I bring a million balls and it goes off. I don't care if I just drop another ball and we move on.
He interrupted my segue.
Oh, sorry.
Because I was saying we love you because you can answer questions like Steven's super chat question.
All right.
Did you see how I did that?
Yeah.
Did you just cut me right off?
Yeah, sorry.
That's why I'm the host.
Okay, yeah.
Steven has a $5 super chat question. First of all, Steven, thank you for your super chat.
Yes, thank you very much, Steven.
Steven says, I've drawn on and off for years, and I'm 20 now. You are young, Steven. So young. My goal is to pursue a career in animation. Any tips for improving our skills at a good rate? Love you, by the way.
Well,
I'm so good because that was just an LYBTW, but I'm getting hip to the texting lingo.
Yeah.
Which just shows how not young I am.
That you say things like hip to the lingo?
Yeah. the texting lingo. And that I said how young Steven was at 20.
Yeah, well, you know what? For drawing, it really is young, though. It really is. I would say, to my mind, the fastest way to get better at art is, first of all, you have to be patient with yourself and with your progress and allow it to take the time that it takes, but you don't want to waste time either by approaching things the wrong way. So you need to learn your anatomy first of all, you need to learn a simple tube form figure, learn your proportions, get comfortable drawing figures, just quickly gesture drawing. That's step one. Once you can kind of get that down, then you want to learn on that tube form drawing where all of your anatomy goes. It doesn't have to be perfect at this point. You just want to know that your shoulder, for instance, is like a broad muscle here, a frontal and a rear muscle, where the broad muscles are. That's step number 2. And while you're doing step number 2, keep doing your gesture drawing. Never stop doing that. That's something you want to do every day for at least a small portion of your day. And then once you've got that down, animation, faces are so important. So I would really focus on faces for sure. But, spend some time drawing arms. Now, I'm talking from a comic perspective, right? So arms are so important to me. Spend time drawing arms. Spend a week and you just learn arms from different angles. Look at different artists that do it well. Look at life and just draw as much as you can. And then do legs and just break the figure down. So, you might spend a week once you've done all that drawing women. It depends on what you want to focus on. If you want to draw expressions, just, draw expressions. And there are great character sheets out there from, Disney animators and different animation artists with, the same character showing all kinds of different expressions. Copy those. And once you've copied them enough, try and draw them on your own and just do it until it becomes part of what you do. And the secret is to take the things that artists do that you like and make them your own. Learn to do them as well as they can do them, and then pick up from other artists. And next thing you know, you'll be able to do those things better than they can. And that's the way to focus drawing, focus learning.
So I'm going to ask the next super chat question. But before I do, David, is that an empty cart of ice cream I see hiding under a pillow down here?
Where?
Right there.
No.
And
wow.
I know he means yes. Oh, the secrets. It is Monday night.
I can't lose weight. I don't know why.
I don't know. Nobody else had any of that ice cream. I can't imagine why you can't lose weight. All right. I'm going to move on to FNAF 3 Fan XXLOL. Their super chat. I love FNAF. Every time I see FNAF, I feel like a little part of Isaac.
Yep.
Even though he's not a FNAF person right now.
Oh, he will be again.
He will be again, because he cycles. But
yeah.
FNAF is clearly from England because his super chat is £4.99, whatever the somebody tell me what the hell changes in Great
Pence, right? Isn't it? I don't know.
I don't think it is pence.
Okay, well anyway, thank you so much for the super chat.
Is it cents? I don't know. Somebody tell me. FNAF 3, you tell me. Anyway, he says, FNAF 3 says, lighting is hard for me. How do you make a page look like a comic? It looks so hard. I've been doubtful lately. Your blue Batman is sick. It's a really good design.
Oh, well, thank you. Okay, well, to light a page, you need to know overall where your lighting's coming from over the entire image. And then I would highly recommend an artist like Mike Mignola, I think, is incredibly useful for that because he's very good at simplifying his lighting. And have I done Mike Mignola yet as the artist of the week? I don't think that I have. So
I don't know
I've got to do that.
The stream will tell us.
Yeah.
I don't need to know because the stream will know.
Okay, so next week we'll do that. And Mike Mignola, more than any artist that I know of, takes correct and consistent and incredibly solid lighting and just simplifies it down to something that is just really simple geometric shapes that you can really understand. And that is, I would say, studying work like that and seeing the way, because when you look at a million little shapes and all this little, these little patterns of light, it can be very daunting and confusing. But when you see an artist that really breaks it down into just simple broad shapes, the rest is just detail. The important thing is those broad shapes, and that's why Mike Mignola is so revered by artists, because it's to be able to break things down in terms like that is very, very impressive. So yeah, I would really recommend taking a look at Mike Mignola. He did Seed of Destruction. That was his Hellboy, the first one. I think that one's phenomenal. He did a Bram Stoker's Dracula, incredible stuff. Some of his DC Batman stuff. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff. I recommend personally his older work because it got much more cartoony, which is still very, very cool, but it's a different feel. And for my part, I like the older stuff.
So I have 3 super chat questions queued, but before I get to them, I want you to know that the stream's response to The Greatest Showman is Kenny Wayne, watch it. The Unknown, watch it. The most unique channel name Meredith has ever seen, watch it. RM, The Greatest Show on Earth from 1952 is good too. Michael Eamon, Greatest Showman was so good. It was the Simon Bisley of musicals.
Whoa.
I'm actually not going to read Kevin P. West.
Who said it was the Simon Bisley of musicals?
Michael Eamon.
Oh, man.
I'm not going to read Kevin P. West, who says don't watch it, because Kevin is clearly not part of the collective.
You know what? If somebody called it the Simon Bisley of musicals, I'm going to watch it.
Justin Hall.
You got me beat. I'll watch it.
Every creative should watch The Greatest Showman.
All right, I'm going to watch it. Once you invoke Simon Bisley,
and then you're going to tell Kevin P. West
that I hated it.
That he was wrong. Or that you agree with him and you shouldn't have watched it. But there you go. All right, so we're back to the super chats. Doc Matthews with another $10 super chat.
Thank you very much again, Doc.
Dave Meredith, love you. Tips on drawing beautiful females with a bit of aging or not a perfect figure. We rarely see real women in comics. A quick sketch would be awesome.
Okay. Hopefully this will be a useful quick sketch.
Just draw Meredith. I mean, I'm aging but beautiful.
Yeah. Actually, hey, here's a preview of a couple of covers.
With not a perfect figure? That sounds like me. He's asking to draw me.
Actually, if anybody's curious, here's my layout that I did for the Wolverine that I'm drawing right now. I like to lay it out first, just so I know what I'm doing. And I don't know. I think it looks better. It always does. And here's a couple layouts for covers that I've got coming up. You can see what my editors have to deal with. That mess.
Those have been his layouts the entire time I've known him.
Yeah, but it's
There's
there.
A shorthand.
Okay, so I'm going to draw... First of all, I'm going to do 2 sketches, and one's going to be just a face. So let's just go quickly with this. Here's my nose. My mouth. I need to do a hair tutorial too.
Yeah, I keep telling you to do hair.
Because I'm doing these head tutorials.
Do hair.
All right. Well, maybe arms next week, hair. Oh, anyway, it's coming up soon. Okay, so here's my very simple. So now to age this a little bit, let me just erase this down. I'm going to bring the eyes down just a little bit so they aren't quite so bright-eyed. Yeah, they don't even line up really. Give them a bit of a upper lid, connect to a bit of a lower, and then here's my brow. Now, it's important too that I don't want her to look, I want her to look older, but I don't want her to look like she's had a rough life. That's not the point. And so I'm going to make her nose just a little larger, because your nose and your ears as you get older can age. So I'll give her
bigger is what he said.
Or age, right? Get bigger, right? And
get bigger.
I'm going to make her upper lip a little thinner. And then you'll find your jowls will drop just a little bit as you get older. So I'm going to drop her jowls down just a little bit. And crow's feet come out around the eyes just like this. And you can give her a bit of a line around the mouth like that. And the sides of the mouth kind of give a little bit of a drop, just about like that. So that's how you would take the same face and make it older without going crazy with it. Now, I kept her in the same physical condition, essentially, like she hasn't gained weight for that. And for a body, so to draw, okay, well, so here, I'm just gonna do an upper body. Okay, and here's my head. So now to age this a bit, first of all, I'm going to bring the breast down. And then I'm going to give her a bit of a, she's not going to be as, you know, completely fit, obviously. I'm going to flatten her out in the back a little bit because she would have lost some muscle in the butt. And give that a bit of a dropped shape. And that is how I would age a body without giving it extra weight. Extra weight is a different thing, and we will do that. Let's do that another time, because
I scroll back in the chat more.
But yeah, everything just kind of falls, you know? Seeing that in the mirror every day.
You and me both. How do I scroll back in the chat more? Because I lost 2 super chats when I refreshed my screen.
You're not asking me that, are you?
Well, I kind of am.
I don't know.
Why won't it let me scroll back? There's a question. This sucks. Don't you have all the super chats on your screen?
No.
Like you can't.
Let me check. Maybe. I've never done it. No. I don't. I'm sorry. Is there a limit
to how far back you can scroll?
Meredith, you're asking me questions I don't have an answer to.
That sucks. No, I don't like that. Because I think it was like a Jeffrey Niffin, maybe.
Well, maybe Jeffrey can repeat it, and that would be very.
No, because he had a super chat question, and I think it was about getting, like, how does he get a comic book mentor?
Oh,
because he's like a young artist, and he feels like he would really do so much better with, like, in his terms of his development. I feel like Jeffrey's like teens.
Right.
I could be wrong, Jeffrey. I'm pretty sure that's it.
Well, you know, I don't really have like, I know I've done it, but I don't think most artists really do that. So it's a little bit of a, you know, here's what I would say anyway is, what you want to get out of a mentor is, ideally, you want to be able to draw something and then get direct feedback based on the drawing that you did and how to fix that particular drawing. That is the fastest and best way to get advice from another artist. You know, you can have somebody say, this is how you draw this, or this is how you draw that. But I'm sure all of you know from experience that you'll run into your own problems that aren't really addressed. And it's not possible to tailor a generalized tutorial for every possible outcome. And so, yes, a mentor is something that can be very, very valuable. And I would say the best that I could offer is, I've got my Skillshare course coming up. I'm going to be working on it again tomorrow. I'm hoping to have it finished tomorrow. We'll see. And when I do it, it's going to have 3 assignments in it. And I will expect and hope that anybody that takes the course will actually finish the assignments, and then you can turn them in on the Skillshare page, and I can go through the actual assignments and talk about what you got right, what you got wrong, what you need to work on, what's working, what's not working. And also other people that are also taking the course can comment. So, you know, if we get very, very lucky, we'll have somebody like Mike Stewart, who's on Discord, is really phenomenal with his critiques. He's a moderator on Discord. Eric Grove also. There are a bunch of people on Discord that are being incredibly helpful with critiques and that kind of thing, and so that can really help too. But that really is what it comes down to. I know for me, I learned under Mark Silvestri, but it wasn't like he sat beside me all day and I drew with him. He would just kind of come around every once in a while and say, you know what, you need to work on that, or you know, and that's really all it comes down to. It's something you do yourself. No one can teach you how to draw. I mean, somebody can teach you how to approach drawing and what to avoid and all those kinds of things, and can certainly help, but it's like learning guitar. You know, you have to sit there and do it, and that is, you know, anyway, talking in circles a bit, but there you go.
All right, here's my next super chat question, which is a similar question from Joseph Razzo. Hey David, what's a good way to get hold of you to ask drawing questions, because I'm trying to get into the comic book industry?
Discord. I am truly trying. I know I am trying. I'm trying. It's just I'm finding it's.
I would say that David is probably, unfortunately, Joseph, not the person to access, just because he's so busy. I mean, the live streams are amazing, and I'm sure we're all like, we love that we can spend this time, and then you do your tutorials. But in terms of like looking for David for help to get into the industry, I think your better way to go about that, Joseph, is to start trying to connect with, like, either putting your comic book out there, sequential artwork out there through Deviant Art, or web publishing a comic, or working with a writer who's web publishing a comic. You're certainly welcome to ask questions through our Facebooks. I can't always guarantee Dave's going to get to your Facebook question. This is another way to ask questions, but the streams and allowing, you know, people to access David and talk to him through this. I don't want to give anybody the illusion that by coming on the stream, or you're going to be able to talk to Dave and he's going to get you into the industry, because I mean, there are people that you've tried to get into the industry who you know very well who still can't. Like, it's just, your best way to go about it is to put in the time to publish your work, or to do web comics, and you just kind of have to grind it out, unfortunately.
Yes, and also they're always looking for people. They really are. If
you're talented enough and you get your work out there enough, they will see it. I feel like that's a really unhappy answer to that question. But I want to be fair and honest about it.
Yes, and it's not just talent, though. It also, it's very much, you need to be drawing in a way that they feel like they can sell. It's a business. And so I've seen very talented artists who are just drawing in a style that is not really necessarily, now, style, sure, but you can go pretty far with a style. But the characters need to look like the characters, things need to read, and it needs to, like, you want heroic characters to appear heroic, and if they don't, a lot of publishers are really gonna, certainly if you go for that kind of a a book, you go for something like a superhero comic, you're going to have trouble finding somebody to publish it. So you want to think in terms of, it's talent, but it's also marketable talent. And it's something you need to really be focused on, is when you're learning how to draw, you are learning a skill that is, I think if you want to just completely draw for yourself, you'd be better to be like a fine artist, which is a totally valid way to go. This is very much, it's commercial art. So there is a commercial aspect to it.
All right. And then the next super chat question from Ryan Kirby for $10. Ryan says, thank you, first of all, Ryan, for the super chat. I'm an inker still waiting on my big break, and my only hope is that one day we get to work together. Keep up the great work with the YouTube channel.
But thank you very much, Ryan, and hopefully that will work out.
Keep working.
Yep.
Put it out there. Darren Eamon says he's sending an offer of marriage to either David or Meredith. Darren, just let us know when you decide. One or the other of us might be available. Oh dear.
If she makes me watch
The Great Showman, so I think it was Leggy 100 said Leggy's watched a lot of movies and wasn't sure that it was the greatest, but I just love the music. And Isaac and I, we belt out that soundtrack like the world's gonna end if we don't. All right, and everybody, thank you, by the way. I just want to say to Eric and all the people who put out the questions that I missed. I feel like there's one other question.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, thank you, Eric.
There was a question about, somebody had like Pedro or somebody who had like a writing question. I feel really bad because I missed it.
Those are your favorite questions.
I know, they're like perfectly, they're geared for me.
Yeah.
Like a super chat question for me.
There are times I feel like it's unfair. Somebody asks a writing question and boom, it's guaranteed to get answered, Meanwhile.
Oh, come on.
I think it's true.
Well, then you could have an artist run this stream for you.
All right.
It's the Meredith and Dave stream.
Yep.
Meredith gets at least 5 minutes. All right. We have another super chat from RLJ3 Visions for $5. Thank you, RLJ3. What do you think about artists like Bernie Wrightson, Kelly Jones, and Kyle? It's like, he knows you, clearly. He's asking. This is like a lob ball. Also, what tips and tricks for learning anatomy? Thanks for the vids. Kyle Hotz, Kelly Jones, Bernie Wrightson.
Yep.
That was like a soft one across the plate.
No kidding. And well, Kyle Hotz actually taught me anatomy as much as anyone, just with a little bit of advice that he gave me in 1992 when it was my first samples. I had been drawing for a couple of months. I was not ready and I had no idea. I thought, oh yeah, I'm ready. And he said, and I've said this a million times, I have a feeling most of you have heard this, but look at George Bridgman's Guide to Life Drawing, copy everything that's in there, close the book and copy it all again. And I did that, and it took me ages. I mean, it took me a while though, and it made a massive difference in my art. And I'm a huge fan of his stuff anyway. He's a phenomenal artist. He's a great guy. He took the time with me. He didn't need to. I was not ready. The work that I had was terrible. I have it here actually. At some point I need to bring it out and just show how bad it was. And obviously, Bernie Wrightson, I was just looking at Bernie Wrightson today.
All right.
Oh, and Kelly Jones.
Oh, here we go. Eric found the question for me. Eric's the greatest. It was from Pedro Arentes. He asked, Meredith, question for you. How do you write character development? I'm writing a comic, manga, and my chapter needs to make realizations or change their mind. So I think, Pedro, the first thing you need to answer, and this really for me goes for anybody who's writing a story that you want people to care about, is you have to know what maybe I repeat myself, but I feel like it's so important. You have to know where your character is at the beginning of your story and where, from a personality, an enlightenment, a character development point, are they going to be at the end of the story. So for something really simple, I'm writing a story of a boy who doesn't like dogs. At the end of my story, where is the boy? Is the boy at a place where he likes dogs? is the boy at a place where he still doesn't like dogs, but now maybe he's not afraid of dogs and he can appreciate that other people like dogs? There has to be a journey for your character. So that's what I think you're struggling with right now in your chapter and your comic, Pedro, is a lot of people have these really cool ideas, like, I'm going to do this story about this happening and this happening and this happening, and they have all these events that happen to the character, but the character throughout their story has no agency. They don't make things happen. They don't make changes. The character, I think, to quote Gail Simone, is like the girl in the fridge, right? Like, you have to ask yourself, could this story happen without my character? And if it could, then I'm not developing my character. Does that make sense?
It makes absolute sense to me. I think it was a great explanation, yeah.
Thank you, Eric, for finding that question for me, because that would have sat on my heart tonight that I didn't get to it. All right, so then that makes the next super chat question from Kevin Ford for $4.99. Skillshare class sounds really cool. I'm a full-time teacher though. Is it catered to anyone or more for aspiring comic artists? Thank you. And somebody else asked because they couldn't find your Skillshare. And the reason they can't find your Skillshare is because it's not up yet.
Still working on it.
He's still working on it. Tuesday you posted, this Tuesday is devoted to finishing the Skillshare, hopefully.
Yes. So,
is the Skillshare class catered to anyone or for comic book people? That's the question.
Both. Now, here's I have a choice to make when I do these. I could go much more broad and try and stay away from any kind of a comic style and just do something that's useful for everyone. Truth be told, I think that there are those courses already out there. I wanted to do something that is a little bit more for comic artists. So it is more for comic artists, absolutely. But the same skills apply. And it comes down to, it's all based on Loomis. You know, everything really, now there's detail and there's, I've actually even added a little bit of costume. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to do that and encourage as part of the assignment. The last assignment is to draw something, kind of create your own character on top of it. Just because I thought it'd be fun to do. But the basic understructure and method is it's classical drawing. It's the way that all of the old illustrators worked. It's something that has been tradition for, you know, hundreds of years, I'm sure. So yes, it's universal. At the same time, it's comic focused.
Perfect. All right. So then the next question comes from Doc Matthews. Another super chat question for $10 from Doc.
Thank you again, Doc.
Doc does take the night at this point. Doc wins the night. Dave and Meredith, sorry to ask so much, don't apologize. But one last question. My book has creatures, but I'm struggling making a bug-looking creature look scary creepy. Knowing your works, do you have any tips on that? Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow.
That's my answer.
I have a better answer. And you're gonna hate me for this.
No,
I'm doing it.
Book of the week. We already did that.
I don't. You know what though?
You can't help yourself.
I can't help it. And look at this. This is an old book, but this is probably the coolest design book ever made in the history of mankind. This is Nirasawa. And it's sculpted, actually, now the worst with names, but he's got a million incredibly cool sculpts. It's just, I have taken so many things from this book over the years. Look at that guy. And anyway, there are a million different, there are all these like chrysalis designs in here, tons of stuff. You can actually just, here, I'll give you the name and look that up on Google, find everything you can. Outrageously cool stuff. That's what I recommend. There you go.
We found another super chat question that got lost in the stream when I refreshed, which clearly, maybe I need to be a moderator because Eric can go back and get them all. So.
Oh yeah, maybe Eric can help you with that.
Well, Eric is helping me with it because Eric is a rockin' moderator, and this was the super chat question asked by Vrax7 that I missed. Met you in New Orleans last year. Really enjoyed the conversations. I'm learning a lot from the streams. Next time, I hope to meet Meredith too. I hope to meet you too, Rax. And I'll have a better Aphrodite 9 sketch for you. Do you remember his Aphrodite 9 sketch then?
Yeah, I do. Well, yeah, and that was not long ago. Thank you very much.
Isaac with you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And it's great to see you here. I really appreciate it. And hopefully you can come out there, Meredith, next time.
Yeah. I
had gumbo with Peter Tomasi.
Oh, I like Peter.
Yep.
He's such a nice guy.
Yeah, he sure is.
All right. I gotta go back because there's more super chats. Super chat from SCS Powerlifting for $5. And a cough.
Oh, I thought that was a super chat.
No.
Thank you very much, SCS. Again,
I'm trying
thank you.
to get myself. Do you ever do the splatter effect with a toothbrush or the card like Jim Lee? And will there be any type of splatter on this piece?
Well, it's a pencil, so no. And yes, I do. I tend to not really do much splatter, though, because...
It's a frisket and it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, well, what I end up doing is I'll frisket the whole thing, and I have trouble with it. You know what? I need to watch one of his streams, and just... Because he just uses, like, a card and just covers things up really loosely. I don't... You know what? I'm too...
You're too anal.
Yeah, it's hard to just let go and just... put splatter everywhere, and then it's on the figure, and I'm, So, yeah, I should work on it, though, because he makes it look incredibly cool. And I've seen him do it, and I just kind of didn't pay attention, which, reminds me of... I worked at Tough Cow. How many times have I said that now in a stream? A million times. I worked at Tough Cow. And there were a bunch of inkers that were working there, too, and I learned nothing because I didn't watch. I was so focused on learning how to draw and pencils, and so I just didn't pay attention, and I could have learned so much from and colorists, like some of the first computer colorists back when it was really a new thing, and they were still calling it color separating, and it was to move a page on the screen, you'd move it a little bit and the whole thing would reload little line at a time. It was a totally different time, and I learned nothing about that too. It was very incurious, unfortunately.
I was just typing to answer this question, but I'm going to read it out loud because I feel like it's helpful.
Okay.
And we haven't done a lot of Meredith questions. Game Master Toolbox asks, Meredith, do you listen to Writing Excuse podcast? And what books about writing do you recommend? So I was just writing Game Master Toolbox back and to say that I haven't listened to that podcast, but maybe I should. But I haven't actually found... I've tried reading books about writing, but what I found is just reading great books and breaking them down and understanding, now that I've written some stuff, understanding what other writers have done has been more helpful to me than reading a book telling me how to do it. Does that make sense? Or watching a TV show and saying, like, oh my gosh, why did they do this? Or I love watching a bad TV show, understanding why it's bad, watching a good TV show and understanding why it's good, and what aspects of the story are good and what aspects of the story didn't work. I find those kinds of things, and talking about them with Dave and sort of putting them out there is much more helpful to me than reading a book about somebody telling me what to do. I think that just everybody learns differently, but certainly the way I learn and internalize writing, it's more I think my writing is more trying to emulate something, like a C.S. Lewis book. Like Rose is my ode to C.S. Lewis. That trying to write in a way that honors writers that I love, and sort of understanding what they've done seems to me to be the most beneficial way of improving my writing thus far. That and having really great editors who will be honest. Like, I cannot over stress the importance of having a really great editor, which I have been blessed to have. And I will recommend David Raddick, who edited the Book of Ruth for me and did Rose. I actually found him because he reviewed my Rose comics starting off. And then I had originally had Andy, oh my gosh, I just had a brain fart.
Andy Schmidt.
Andy Schmidt, thank you. Worked for Marvel, runs Comics Experience, editing Rose. Amazing person, good friend. He was editing it, and then I he was getting really busy, and I just was looking for a bit of a change to make sure that it was going the direction I wanted it to go. And I picked David because his reviews of the book were so freaking thoughtful. I'm like, why aren't you editing it? So there you go. So that, I would say, hopefully that helps. So I'm going to delete my comments because I answered them. And we have a super chat from Coffee Republic. There's an A before it, so I don't know what the A means, but it's for $4.49 in his currency. How to approach drawing study on a Bridgman book.
Well, thank you very much, Coffee Republic. Okay, well, the way that I did it is starting with page 1, which when I did it seemed like a real waste of time and ridiculous, because I wanted to move to, I need to work on arms. I wanted to study that, or I needed to work on this. I wanted to study that. And I decided to just have the patience to just draw everything. And you'll find that they all kind of start to inform each other. And when you are working on arms, for instance, if you've already done legs, so much of what you learned will kind of translate. And also it's repetition. The more you do something, the more natural it'll become for you. My favorite way of learning from Bridgman was that way. That's the way that I did it. Now, I would say that you'd certainly get a whole lot out of going through and working on a section. Let's say you're struggling with fingers and you want to see how he's breaking down his fingers and how he's getting his forms working well, give that a try.
Okay, got another super chat question. And Eric said that if I refreshed, which I did, for a reason, then I would lose the chat, so I can't refresh.
Okay.
The inexorable word nerd says, Meredith Finch, David is the best stream sidekick ever. You are a good sidekick.
Well, thank you so much, inexorable.
And not a person gave me a good point. Meredith, maybe you should have 2 tabs open so you can refresh one and have the other one still there.
You need a whole workstation.
I do. I need my own desk. And just somebody asked if I'm ever getting a camera, and the answer is never. I am, just so you all know, I'm never ever getting a camera. And the reason I'm never getting a camera is because Dave looks like that all the time. See Dave's face? That he looks like that all the time. He can get up first thing in the morning and he can look like that. He can go to bed and he can wake up out of bed at like midnight and he will look like that. But I don't want to have to, I'm a woman. Have some pride. And I want to come down here in my pajamas on a Monday night and not have to worry about what I look like. But if you see me at a convention, I promise I'll make some effort. But this is my I don't have to have makeup on.
This is I'll do your stream, but I'm not.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I will never ever have a camera. I might have a microphone. I will never have a camera.
You do need a microphone, if nothing else.
Nobody's complaining tonight. All right, next super chat from Greg L for $2. Would you mind adding more to the torso demo you did? But I think that means, Greg, that David should do a Skillshare Udemy course on torso drawing.
Yeah, the torso demo. Which one?
I don't know.
Because I don't think I did one today.
I don't know if you did a torso demo.
Well, I guess.
No, I mean a torso. I don't think he means tonight. Did you do a torso demo?
Sort of.
On your demos and stuff.
Well, okay, I'll tell you what. I certainly will have. For the next thing for anatomy for me, I'm really debating either arms or torso. So, and really when I do the torso, it's not going to have a back because that's a whole other thing. That's, for me to do both would be, at that point, it'll be another video, or it would be more appropriate for Udemy or Skillshare because it would just, I can't do on YouTube effectively an hour-long course as much as I would like to. There gets a point where you actually get kind of penalized by the algorithm for doing that, I have found. So
all right, so Jasper Plan 9 has a super chat for $4.99 who said, my comments on writing were super helpful, but what are the steps in my process, Meredith? And he also gave me the super chat so I could get a cough drop. I think I have all my cough drops are at the barn because I always get the fisherman's friends, And my horses love them because they've got a little licorice, so, and they're easy to take out with you in your pocket when you're going to go catch them in the middle of a field and you don't want to run around for an hour.
Man, if you were on here and not coughing, everybody would think I was an imposter.
They would. They'd be like, "Where's Meredith?
Yeah, what did you do?
Who is the clone? The Valley of the Dolls." All right, so steps in my process for writing. First off, obviously decide who you're writing. What's the character? Like, you have to know what your character is. So for Rose, I was like, I knew I wanted to write. I knew what the character. I think Rose was helpful because you had already drawn the character for me, because I was going to write that. We had talked about the character.
Yeah, Rose was actually my first Gnomon workshop video that I did.
But then it was like, what do I want this story to say? What is the point of me putting this comic book out there and expecting people or feeling like people should read it? And I knew after writing Wonder Woman that I had more that I wanted to say on the topic of love. And what does love look like? And what are the expressions of love? And because I have a very strong faith, and I'm a huge, like I said, a huge C.S. Lewis fan, I wanted to weave in some of those components of sacrificial love into the book. So I knew, because I knew that, I had a place of where the character was starting, this girl who knew nothing, and she had this magic that she didn't even know she had, and I could take her through this journey of discovering that she has magic and discovering that she's a savior of her world and encountering people. And then how does this sort of love that she has for the world and this innocent kind of love, this love that expects nothing in return, how does that love then shape and impact the people that she encounters? So not only do I get to tell her journey and how, you know, what her ultimate sacrifice is, or what the ultimate sacrificial love is that happens in that story, but I also get to show how she influences people through that love, including some of the villains that end up being, for me, Dante started as a villain, and I didn't intend for him to be the character he was, but he got so informed, and I think he's a character that had the biggest arc.
Yeah, he was a throwaway.
Yeah, he really was when I started. But as long as you keep that theme and you know where you're going with your main character, then you start to look at the ways that you can show that theme or that storyline and influence everybody else around your main character. So hopefully that helps. And I will use that $4.99 to get another couple packs of Fisherman's Friends when I go to Shoppers Drug Mart tomorrow.
Money well spent.
I think so. I'll have some next week, Jasper 9, Plan 9. And then I'm going to end with a cough. All right. We have another super chat from Doc Matthews for
Thank
$10.
you
Doc
very
Matthews.
much again, Doc.
Thank you so much. Every one of your image drawings was better than any of the creators. Love following your career. Love comics. Love you two doing this stream. It is so amazing for a 90 comics child. Thank you. Aww.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Doc. And then we have another super chat from... Hold on, because I'm behind. Richard Stoltz for $6.99. When you get a script, how do you decide where to start? Do you pick the page you think will be the most fun or the least fun to draw, or do you go in order?
Okay, so I start...
Thanks for the super chat, Richard.
Oh, yes, thank you. Right, for the super chat. I start with page 1, and then I work my way through, and I do it in order. And I do that because I find if I do it any other way, I will really read through the script and find the easiest page. Oh, this is a splash page of a big head, and I'll draw that because I just need to get pages in, because I'm behind. And next thing you know, I'm drawing the easiest pages and putting a ton of time into them. And then the pages that are really important and more difficult and more daunting, I avoid and end up hacking them out, and the book suffers. Also, that's not really just the only reason. I find, in terms of storytelling, like for a TV show or a movie or something like that, they have storyboards, so they know where everything goes visually, and then when they film, they can actually plan around an actor's schedule and things like that, and sets, so they can move around. But because I'm kind of creating my own storyboards as I go, I guess maybe if I laid out pages to start, but I don't do that. I wake up in the morning and draw my page. I find the storytelling can really suffer, and the amount of times that I've drawn a page and then had to go back to the previous page and realize that I missed something that was supposed to be on the page, like a setting thing or something, and then it just doesn't work, and I have at that point screwed the writer over. And on a monthly comic, it's not so easy to fix that problem, so I try to go in order to make sure that doesn't happen.
All right, we have another super chat from Daniel Castelli. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Yes, thank you again, Daniel.
Daniel has a super chat for $4.99. He's like, last week you said I only super chat you, so tonight I asked all my questions normally, and we totally missed them. He says that's okay.
We're the worst.
I tried keeping up with the chat too. It's hard. It is hard. It's hard to keep up with the chat because, I think part of what people like too is a little bit of the repartee and the give and take between us. So I don't want to not do that and just be like a computer going, okay. But I really do try to see the questions.
Yeah, so it's a mix back and forth. It really is. It's
hard.
And proving his point, you answered his super chat question.
Pardon me?
I said, and proving his point, you answered.
I know. Oh my gosh. Which is why he's like, he gives us another super chat for $4.99. But since I really wanted this one answered, and a couple of winky, funny faces. What will the Skillshare course offer that the Gnomon did not? And this is a big one. Will Meredith narrate it? Well, I will not narrate this one.
No, and you know what?
It's drawing, but I should do one. I'll do it like a National Geographic, and the artist puts his pencil on the page. You can see the sweat bead upon his forehead.
Anyway.
But yes, what will the Skillshare course actually offer that the Gnomon course did not?
The main thing that it will offer is a more focused attention to a very particular, like I think I did heads. I learned some things. You know what? I learned some things from doing the Gnomon course. So there's that. I also did the Gnomon stuff. I flew to California, did the whole thing, and it was all put together after I went home, not by me. And so there were things that I would have liked to have been able to get in there. There were things that, I just naturally had to get edited out for time that I would have, and so there's that. The main thing, truthfully, that it has that you can't get from the Gnomon thing is actual actionable assignments that you have to complete as part of the course. Now, you don't have to. I mean, it's not like I can, twist your arm, but I would say that if you really want to get the most out of the Skillshare course, drawing the assignments and working through it, and it's designed to be worked through, so it's broken down,
and it's not sped up like the Gnomon.
Yeah, it's not sped up, and I'm actually talking as I draw as opposed to narrating after the fact. I've been finding with speaking about this.
By the way, before you digress, how much time do you have left on that piece? Roughly.
Half an hour.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to rush you then. Carry on.
Okay, so I forgot.
It is 10 o'clock, by the way.
I know, but you know what?
This is why we do inks, because pencils take forever.
Well, I have multiple figures on this one.
What else? What do you mean you have multiple figures?
I've got ninjas at the bottom.
Oh,
jeez. Okay, so what was I saying?
We were talking about the Skillshare, not being in real time.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah, I've been finding with the YouTube videos, and I don't know what the exact right answer for this is though, but I find it can be very difficult. I want to get as much stuff into those things as I can possibly get, so I'm speeding it up twice as fast, and then I'm trying to talk over my sped up drawing, and it is so hard for me to actually get out. Like I did textures, And I'd love to be able to say, in this little shape right here, this is why I'm doing that. And some of that stuff is important, and I cannot get that across in that format. And I'm thinking about maybe not doing it that way anymore, just because it really is making it difficult to... I feel like they're not as useful as they could be because of that. And yeah, anyway, the Skillshare course won't be that way, but I'm thinking the YouTube videos won't be either, so I can't even say that's a special thing.
It's going to be like working with you. I mean, for the people, I guess, here's the thing. For the question that was asked earlier, how can I get a mentor? This is a way to kind of be mentored by Dave Finch, right? For how do I get Dave to look at my art? Well,
yeah, well, I will say this. I will absolutely 100%.
This is the way to get your art looked by Dave Finch.
Yeah, I will absolutely 100% be looking at the work that people do as part of the course and commenting on it and keeping up with that. Yes.
I mean, at that point, so yeah. So that's sort of, I think, hopefully that helps, Daniel.
Yeah. And
then we have another super chat from Russ Hicks for $5. Dave, been a huge fan since the mid-90s. Ever consider doing a tutorial on knees?
On knees.
Thank you for the super chat, Russ.
Yes, thank you very much, Russ. That is a very specific.
Very specific.
You know, I think that is something that I am planning on doing a full anatomical course on Udemy. That will be by the end of the year. I will certainly have it finished, and that's a format where I can really go in and cover that kind of thing in depth. It would be difficult to do. I could do it as a YouTube course, but it would be so...
I realize why we don't get to all the questions, because you talk too much.
Oh yeah, somebody just bring up Rose. We'll see who talks.
I'm just kidding. JK! See, there's my text lingo. I'm hip. I'm hip to the jive. Oh my gosh.
Sound like Dr. Evil.
I know, I do. I have my pinky by my mouth right now. Jose LeBron has a super chat for $4.99. Was there anime or manga that influenced your work? And, as always, killing it.
Thank you very much, Jose. My main manga that influenced me is Ghost in the Shell. By far, that's like my number one. And then Akira to a smaller extent. And Battle Angel Alita is another one. There are others, and I'm going to end up forgetting some, of course, but yeah, definitely by far and away, the main one for me was Ghost in the Shell.
Greg L did mean the little upright torso from earlier in the stream.
Oh, okay. This one. I'm not sure what specifically to add. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to pull out because I've been pulled in for a bit anyway. And here's what I will add. I'm just going to draw from the side. It's very simple from the side. And from the top, it would be like this.
This is much like your legs tutorial.
Yeah.
I feel like I could get that far.
Oh yeah. Yeah, anybody. This is very, very simple. Now, like a bit of a 3/4 would be more like this. Actually, 3/4 probably describes the shape better than any other way. So that would be 3/4. And then a question that I have gotten lately, and I've seen it, so let me give you, here's another piece that I could say that I think is actually useful, and that is twisting the torso, which is not so hard. So in your torso, you've got your chest. Let me draw my chest. I'll draw basically the same shape that I just drew.
I just want you to know I still turn into a pumpkin at 10:30.
Okay, we're working on it. And then I'm going to draw my pelvis, and that I'm going to point this way. And so I know I want to connect like that. And so to get that twist, my stomach connects through here, and I can do it.
This is not a comfortable couch.
I love that couch.
How do do you sit on it all day? Oh my gosh, it's killing my back.
Maybe that's my problem.
Yeah, it's awful.
So there you go. Anyway, you make sure to draw that center line through, all the way through, and you've got, the sides of your stomach, draw those through too, and attach them, and you can twist the body all over the place, and it doesn't become disconnected. Right, so there's...
On to the super chats, because I'm so far behind on the super chats. First of all, Neil George has a $5 super chat, and he says, my favorite day of the week. I love you guys. Thank you, and thank you, Meredith, for liking my New Mutants piece. Without cons, I still get this. Yes.
Thank you so much, Neil.
Thank you, Neil, for the super chat. And I hate when that happens.
What happened?
Like it jumps.
Oh.
Now I'm so far behind. You have no idea how far behind I am right now on super chats. Mr. Alonzo Washington has a $5 super chat. Is it possible for both of you to do a tutorial video together? I don't.
Yes, actually, totally possible. We're going to do it because at some point later this year, now I keep saying everything's later this year, and I mean, the year is only so long. As soon as I possibly can, I'm going to be doing drawing a full comic page, start to finish, from a script, from a concept, working with a writer to make sure that the writer is happy with the way you're approaching the page. So it'll be drawing.
Oh, what writer are you working with?
I have to figure that out.
Yeah.
So I think actually I'll do it in a way that I don't actually work, because I've been doing this for a long time. So when I draw a page, I do my own layout, and I don't really consult if I can get away with it. And generally I can, but when you're starting and writers are a little less confident in the kind of storytelling you're going to do, they want to see layouts. So I think what would be really useful is to do like 3 really quick layouts, talk to Meredith in the tutorial, and get some comments back, and work through it that way, and draw the whole page, everything that goes into it, start to finish. We'll do something with a little bit of action, a little bit of dialogue.
That sounds fun. Let me know how that goes for you.
I will, and you're doing it with me. There
Rob D is a super chat. Thank you so much for your super chat. $5 from Rob D.
That would be Rob Doria.
I know. Can't wait for your create your own book. Any clues on the genre? Will it be crowdfunded project? It will not be crowdfunded. We cannot talk about it on this stream because we will get killed.
Yes, and not crowdfunded.
But I can tell you it won't be crowdfunded.
And I can also say, is it even appropriate for me to say this?
No, don't say it, because you always say too much, and this is not the place to say too much.
Okay.
So you cannot, I'm sorry, I cannot let Dave talk about this upcoming project.
That's not what I was going to talk about, but...
I don't care.
I need to talk to you, Rob.
He likes Rob.
But yeah, I need to talk to him, so...
Okay. Jeffrey Niffen has another super chat. And Jeffrey, by the way, not a teenager. Jeffrey's 40. So
okay, well...
He just has a young name, Jeffrey Niffen. It's just fun. I just love the name. Sorry. You don't be surprised if you appear in a book one day. Your thoughts... Thank you for the super chat, Jeffrey, by the way, for $1.99.
Yes, thank you very much, Jeffrey.
Know your thoughts on body chan figures to draw from. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming you do.
Body chin figures to draw from?
Body chan, C-H-A-N, capitalized.
Oh, yeah. Do I have one?
Oh, is that those little posable things?
Yeah. Let's see if I can find mine. You clean my office.
Yeah, they're right over there. By your brushes and stuff.
Are they?
Or they were over here. On your,
Dang it. Because I feel like it's not very useful to...
Okay, well...
Anyway, unfortunately, I don't know where my things are, but they are basically little posable figures, and I don't generally use anything like that to draw, but what I do, there are times I'll have to draw a character standing on the ground from an awkward angle from behind. You're looking down at the figure. That kind of thing can give me a little bit of trouble. Pose that little figure up, and yes, totally useful, especially because the feet are so well done on those, and they're posable. Yeah, I totally recommend them. And I think as a drawing tool, like as a learning tool, I think they could be very useful too, because they break down. And actually, I experimented when I got some of those. I got some last year. I experimented with some of the ways that they almost robotically break down some of the body pieces. And I thought it'd be interesting to give it a try.
Yeah. Anyway, your office needs to be cleaned again, by the way.
It does.
Right, next super chat from Pedro Arentes. Thank you so much for the super chat, Pedro. Pedro wants to know if you've thought about doing actual pages instead of covers. I think it would be a great help just seeing someone do it properly. It could be a course. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Skillshare course.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Skillshare, whatever it is. But yes, I'm absolutely going to do that, and it will not be a cover. As much as I think covers are, useful, there are so many things you just don't encounter on a cover. Well, especially just in terms of, making one panel flow to the next panel most effectively, figuring out how to lay out a series of panels on a page, in an effective way, all those kinds of things. I think it'd be so useful, and I don't know that there's a lot of that out there. At least I'm not aware of it. If it is, I missed the boat.
All right. So we will do that as a course.
Yeah, and Meredith will help. We're not paying her, though.
No. All right, next super chat question from Joelo Miguel Eliano for 10 reals, maybe? He may be from Brazil. Hey, David. Have you ever seen the Man Ben TV documentary series from NHK ETV with manga authors working in their studios?
No.
Have you ever followed any original manga series? Any you recommend?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Ghost in the Shell. All the ones that I mentioned earlier on, for sure. I would say no, and I haven't seen the show. And actually, if you wouldn't mind, if you could just throw up, if not a link, just like a. Do you have it written down there, right? Or you have it? I always watch these afterwards. I will look for it.
Man
Ben. Yeah, I'd like to actually find that because I think
MANBEN.
Okay, I will find it.
Perfect. All right, and then the next super chat is from Sheldon Martin. Good to see you tonight, Sheldon, for $5.
We already said hi to Sheldon tonight.
Well, I don't know. I'll see him again.
Thank you for your super chat, Sheldon.
I can say what I want to say. It's past my bedtime. At 10 o'clock, the brain starts just melting down. So we're lucky I can still read these super chat questions.
Sheldon said he had to miss the first hour.
He did? Oh, did he? Oh, there you go. He wants to know if we do anything cool during the winter, like sledding, snowball fights, or skiing.
I go into the garage and I stare at my motorcycle and cry.
We sometimes go downhill skiing.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
We'll take the boys sledding occasionally, but they're getting older, and I just make them go themselves because I'm lazy.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I went at all. Not once this year. That's terrible.
And to be fair, I ride my horse all winter outside in the arena. Like, it's a covered arena, but it's not heated. So if it's -10, I might be out of the wind, but it's still -10. I got my little hot pockets in my gloves, and I ride all winter, so there's that.
Yep.
And there's that. And I shovel the driveway. Just wait till we have the farm, then there'll be all kinds of stuff to do.
Oh, fun times.
I know. I can hear the puppy crying right now.
Meredith, it's coming. It's coming.
I'm just saying, I wonder if I should run up and let him out.
Okay.
I have 2 super chat questions.
Okay, ask them in.
Okay, Artsy Design has a $10 super chat question. Thank you so much, Artsy Designs. Hey, David, first live chat, awesome. Met you in 1996 in a small convention in Chicago. Got an Aphrodite sketch, lost it in a divorce.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. How soon will you be doing commissions?
Thank you so much for the super chat. And yeah, it's 1996. That would have been one of my very first conventions. I remember at the time, Top Cow would go to a convention, and then they would bring a couple artists, and it was like a real privilege to be able to go. So I remember all those ones really, really well. I am doing commissions. We have now, somebody asked actually earlier on, apparently they contacted Comic Sketch Art. That's who you book commissions through, and they hadn't gotten back. They're generally very good with it, so hopefully that wouldn't be an issue, but they are the people to contact for that. And I am very sorry that you lost your sketch. It's a tough way for it to go. And I think there was another super chat, but Meredith ran away. And my screen is covering. Here, let's see if I can get this up here. Hey, it's Henry Jeremick. Need a snowblower soon. Johnny Cage says he's never getting married. You know what? It's worth it. It really is. I mean, I guess anything could happen, but I certainly have no regrets. And it's not like we have never fought. I'm sure you could tell. We have fought. But yeah. So this is actually getting a little bit close to being wrapped up. I knew that it was pencil, and I can be a little quicker with the pencil, so I added a little bit more. And I feel like if you're going to draw Wolverine, he needs ninjas, you know? So he's got ninjas. I think what we're seeing right now is why it's so good we have Meredith here. When it comes to rubble and debris, how do you draw that? And how much detail is too much or too little?
Good, you got to that question.
Yes. Okay. So when it comes to rubble and debris, first of all, I did a video this week on YouTube about textures. And so there's some of that. Now, it's a flat wall, and I did that because I wanted to keep it as universally easy as I could. But drawing rubble and debris is so much of the same skill really applies. And when it comes to knowing how much is too much, it all comes down to, I've got a little tiny rock shape here, a bigger one here, a bigger one here, a different kind of a shape here. Here's a shape that's about halfway between this and this. So I tried to make sure that I'm not drawing all the same shape, all the placed the same. It needs to be broken up and as organic as possible. It just takes maybe a little bit of time if it doesn't come naturally at first, which it doesn't for most. It certainly didn't for me, to kind of get a feel for that. And if it's broken up well enough, you'll find that, you know, you can detail that practically forever. So, but you know, if every shape is similarly sized and similarly detailed, it's just, you know, rock, then it doesn't actually take much detail at all for it to really fall apart.
Did you get to the super chat questions?
I don't know. I got to one. You only asked me one.
Okay, so I'll come back then. Daniel Castelli has another super chat question. Thank you so much, Daniel. No one I know remembers Jademan Comics. Do you? They were awesome. It was a blend of image style and manga, all done by Tony Wong. Do you know Jademan Comics?
I don't know, and thank you again for the super chat. No, I don't know that. I'll have to look into that too. I need to. I've actually.
You need a little notebook.
I know. I've written things down.
You need a little notebook. Stream things I learned on the stream.
Yeah. You know what?
And that a British pound, the smaller is a pence.
A pence.
Which is right.
I said.
Did you say pence?
I think so.
Or a p, 19p.
Yeah, pence.
Quid. What's quid?
I think that's $1.
Yeah. Okay. And just in case anybody's interested, the score in the hockey game is Pittsburgh 1, Montreal 0. Thank you, Henry Jeremek, after 2 periods.
Well.
Come on, Montreal! All right, next super chat question, because I think I have 2 more. Doc Matthews has another $5 super chat. Thank you so much again, Doc. What are the top 5 hardest characters to draw that you love to draw? By the way, in my honest opinion, to answer an earlier debate, the greatest and most artistic band ever is Tool.
See, there, yeah. Well, we agree.
Now,
we agree.
Top 5 hardest characters to draw that you love to draw.
Iron Man, who I hated for a long time because he was so hard for me to draw. And he was hard to draw because all of his metal pieces, I needed to draw panel after panel of that. And so it becomes like learning an anatomy. Once I got the hang of it, and once I got comfortable drawing like the metal texture on him, that gave me trouble at first too. I just hadn't done a character like that before I did it. Yeah, I really started enjoying Iron Man. Dr. Doom. I drew a Dr. Doom picture for somebody at a convention and it completely fell apart, and then I hated him for ages. And then I did a story with C.B. Spolsky that had Dr. Doom in it. It was a Spider-Man story, just a short story, and I loved it. I had so much fun with it. So, you know, he's still a favorite to this day. There are a lot of DC characters that DC, just from a design standpoint, is so different, especially, you know, all the Jack Kirby designs. There was a time I really was not fond of that at all, especially coming from like more of an image style, you know, kind of a background. And so that was more my thing. And once I started really working with the Jack Kirby stuff and experimenting with like Galactus, there's one, Galactus. Whew. Yeah. And I love drawing Galactus now. I want my Galactus to look like Mobius, and I've tried. It doesn't. I can't. I don't know. I love Mobius. I'm a huge fan. I've never drawn a thing in my life that looked remotely like Mobius, no matter how hard I try.
Cool. All right. Jordan Seward also had a super chat for $3.99, and Jordan just says, super excited about the drawing from script.
Oh, great. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll have to do that one before I do anatomy, because I do have an anatomy course, by the way.
Because that means I have to work.
Yeah, well, life is tough all the way around.
Life is tough. And by the way, you have to stop getting up, because when you get up, people can see me.
Oh.
Lounging on the couch. I could be picking my nose.
Which you do all the time. That's,
I do.
Yeah.
You never know what could be happening. I don't really,
You're not ready for prime time.
I'm not ready for prime time. I need a screen.
Who would have thought among the two of us I'd be the one on camera that's like more comfortable? Because I'm not a camera person. But
I'm always taking the pictures. I'm never in them.
yeah.
All right. Next super chat question is from Mark Maldonado. Thank you, Mark, for the super chat for $5. Have you ever worked with Greg Capullo or want to? And what do you think of Simon Bisley? Well, I think based on your book of the week, you think Simon Bisley sucks.
Oh, yeah. I'm a massive, huge fan of Simon Bisley. He is, I'm going to say, he's my favorite artist. But there's also Mark Silvestri, who is my teacher and also favorite artist. So in some ways, though, Simon Bisley is my favorite only because Mark, because he was my teacher for so long and I learned so much from him. I've spent years, and I don't feel that now, but for years and years, I felt like I could not look at his work because I was trying to differentiate myself, and I didn't want to just be a Mark Silvestri clone, and I really felt like I was going that way. So Simon Bisley took on a much bigger role for me in terms of influence. And the other Greg Capullo, yeah. Now it would be difficult for me to collaborate with Greg because
ink a picture that he's done.
Yeah, that would be a blast.
Yeah. I
don't know if he would ever be that foolish just to let me do it, but I would certainly do it. Yeah, I think he's incredible. And I think he is, my mind, I think he's the best storyteller in comics of all time ever, period.
All right. So we have another super chat from, hold on here. Capital X, little x, capital T, capital O, capital X, 1, capital C, little x, capital M-A-G, mage. So all that with the word mage, little x, capital X, which is awesome. But that's not easy to pronounce. And the super chats for $5. And X talks something mage. I mean, I'm sure there's something I'm missing on this one, but
right.
It says hello.
That is a long introduction for a very short. Well, thank you and hello. Thank you very much, Mage.
And One Mighty R says they had to sell their motorcycle when I crashed and had road rash. No skin on my leg. They had to brush the rocks out of my leg at the hospital. That's why Dave must always ride in jeans.
Well, even with
you used to have armor pants, but now you're too cool for the armor pants.
I'm too cool for the armor pants.
And if anybody wants to know, what motorcycles do you own, Dave?
I have a Harley Fat Bob and Harley Night Train. And
the number of motorcycles that Dave owns is directly correlated to the number of horses that Meredith also owns.
Yes, if she can get a horse, if she can get a horse, I can get a motorcycle.
That's right.
I mean, it's directly correlated to the budget, but
right. Well, yeah, there's the budget too. SCS Powerlifting just gave us a super chat for $5 for my makeup fund. But SCS, don't you know, it's not even the makeup so much as it's the hair. Well,
and thank you so much for the thought. And you should be on camera.
It's the hair.
Here, let me get out of the way.
No, stop. It's the hair because
you have to do your hair.
Well, because I go to the barn. Like, first of all, I only wash my hair.
Hang on. She looks fine.
Your definition of looks fine and my definition
it's pulled back.
Of looks fine might be different. But I go to the barn. I only wash my hair twice a week. So,
Meredith, it looks fine.
It's always under a helmet. Yeah. Sometimes it gets sweaty. I do my best, but, if I'm down, like, at nighttime, by the time 8 o'clock at night comes, I've pulled it back, and I'm just kind of, like, I'm not trying anymore.
All right,
Basically not trying anymore. So if you could give me new unfrizzy hair, well then, because it's also summer. My hair, it's frizzy.
Okay.
All right.
Craziness.
But I do appreciate. See, this is the $5 is not for my makeup fund. It's for the Meredith Crazy Fund.
Right.
Meredith is a crazy woman. All right. Fernando Picasso gave us a super chat for 50 Mexican dollars. Pesos? Is that what Mexico?
Yes.
Pesos. Hello, he says. I love your work. You are a great inspiration. Greetings to both of you guys from Mexico. Stay safe. Thank you so much, Fernando.
Yes, thank you very much, Fernando.
That was his last trip before life shut down.
It was. I had such a great time.
And you had to stay in the basement for 14 days when you got home.
Yeah, that was tough. It was. But yeah, I love Mexico. I love Mexico City. I had a great time. I always do. I'm very much hoping to be able to go back. Well, I'm sure this will all one day pass. One day.
We'll be back. We'll be able to leave Canada again one day. I don't even know how it would work right now.
I don't know,
2 weeks
but
quarantine in the States, 2 weeks quarantine when you get home. Nobody's living in the basement for a month.
This too shall pass.
I will. And then we'll see everybody again. Another super chat from the inexorable word nerd for $5. Hockey fans, Tool fans. Okay, sorry, Meredith, not a Tool fan, but hockey fan. But I know who Tool is. At Meredith Finch, you guys are holding out on me. Big heart. Thanks for coming on the show. It was a moment I will cherish. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I had a blast.
Oh, you did a show with him?
Yeah, I always love talking about my book.
Well, that's great. Books, thank you for coming by here.
My craft. Happy to do it. Thomas Patterson wants to know, Meredith, what do you think is a good price to hire a writer? I can tell you, Thomas, I've worked for free. But I've also worked for $25 a page, $20 a page. I've worked for $80 a page. I've worked for $100 a page. It really depends on who's paying and
who the writer is. Yeah.
Who the writer is. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're Neil Gaiman, you're probably making,
more than that. I'm sure Scott Snyder and those like higher end writers, Tom King's, are making far more than that.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Now I have no idea how much, but yeah, definitely.
And Sheldon Martin is going to start a GoFundMe for my hair.
Ah.
Thanks, Sheldon.
It looks fine, Sheldon. It does.
Like,
I'm not going to fight it.
If you use my horses for horse reference. You don't draw enough horses.
No, I don't.
You don't. That's what I want for, like, when's our next major anniversary? What are we now?
February 10th. Oh, major one.
Mm-hmm.
We're at, actually, it won't be this year, it'll be next year.
What will next year be, 20 years?
15.
15.
For marriage.
For marriage. All right, for 15, Dave's going to draw me some horses, some pencil and ink, or ink horse things.
Oh man, I'm also, that sounds great.
You best start practicing.
That's better than some kind of jewelry alternative, I'll tell you that.
That's right, so much cheaper. Oh, and Page One Comics wants to know, David.
Jimmy Reyes.
Jimmy says, Dave, never say a woman looks fine. Always say she looks amazingly beautiful, that God rested after creating her beauty.
Jimmy, you don't have to live with her.
I knew I loved Jimmy. I knew I loved him. Jimmy's the best. Fernando, like the Swedish pop song. I love Fernando. I'm sorry. I just like caught me with the Swedish pop song, but I'm sure that was like related to a totally different conversation. I cannot go bald. That's not the solution. You
can't? Yeah, no. I might be bald, but
Comic art. David, do you take poses from games like Spider-Man or PS4, Ghost of Tsushima? Love the piece. It looks gorgeous. You're on fire.
Thank you so much, Tomic. And I haven't seen or heard from Tomic yet tonight, so it's great. It's great to hear from him. No, I do get some like background things, design ideas, like character design stuff, things like that. But poses, no, not really, because in my opinion, I feel like they can be a little. It can really work, but I've tried it. I didn't like it. So no, I don't do that generally. Now, if it works and and also they're getting so incredibly good with what they can do. I mean, their character models have so much motion in them, and it's all, they use like live models and they put little dots on them and they do you know what I'm talking about? You have no idea. Anyway.
Came downstairs.
Yeah, it's all animated from real people. Anyway, I don't do it, but I don't know that it would be a bad thing to do.
All right, super chat question from Mark Maldonado for $5. Mark wants to know if you think 45 years is too old to start drawing comics.
No, It is not too old. Not for a second is it too old. And you would not be the only one that has managed to do it at. And it is old. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That is a late start. It absolutely is. But no, it's not. I think that artists, and I'm sure that you'll notice that there are some artists that as you get older, the work starts to really deteriorate. The reason for that is you have to constantly be learning. You can't just, if you just do this something like this, Wolverine is out of my head. It's the way that I draw. If I did this all the time and never tried to bring in anything new and never tried to look for different influences and maybe like work on how I'm drawing an arm or work on different things, I would never grow, and you slowly will devolve. Your work will suffer. And so it's, it's like a doctor that doesn't keep up with best practices. So artists that do that and put in the effort to keep themselves current and keep learning never ever deteriorate. They do their best work forever until they're retired, and that generally means dead. I mean, that's my plan. I'm never stopping. So yeah, I don't think there's any kind of an age being a barrier in terms of your ability to do it. It really comes down to the biggest barrier that you have is that it's a time commitment. It can be a heartbreaking, difficult experience, as I'm sure a lot of you can attest, trying to get into comics, working for very little money. It's something that you need to have the ability to weather. And that can be tough when you're, supporting a family and you have responsibilities. That would be my caveat. Aside from that, absolutely, it's something that you could do. And I think that if you want to do it, that's not an issue. It's not something that should stop you.
All right, let's make this the last super chat question of the night, because I can see that you're getting close to putting your name on that piece.
About another hour.
Yes.
I wanted to put a big
He's
head.
not inking this, people. He's not inking this.
Yeah.
This super chat is from Manuel Mezquita for 50 pesos. Hi, David. Hello from Mexico. I don't know if you answered this, but you haven't done a full comic in a while. Why? And what's a good portfolio? What would you put in a portfolio?
I'm going to sign my name, and thank you so much for the super chat. That's Manuel.
Yep.
Thank you, Manuel. I am working on a comic that I'm doing the whole thing of. It's a creator-owned book. I can't talk about it, unfortunately. It's taken forever, truthfully. I'm putting so much work into it. It is by far and away the most work I've put into anything in my career. Pages are taking me, the better part of a week. It's sometimes a week to do. It's very, very far along now. I've been working on it ever since I stopped working on Batman. That's a few years ago now. So it's been a real commitment. And in terms of a portfolio, what you want to have is, I'm going to say 3 pages. Anything more than that, you are showing an editor or anybody that's going to potentially hire you more than they need to see. And so 3 pages, you need to have people talking, a conversation with expressions on their faces, and wearing regular street clothes, or at least background people, where you can have Captain America talking to Spider-Man. I wouldn't recommend Spider-Man because he has no face. You really want to see the faces for samples. So Captain America talking to Thor, or talking to maybe a female character would be a better choice because you want to show that range. The girl with the big Miss Marvel, and she's got like the big hands, like she's a very cool character. So yeah, Miss Marvel maybe, and then show them on a city street, because you'll be able to show little shops in the background and people maybe sitting at tables like sipping tea, some cars driving by. You really want to show that you can draw those sorts of things. And then you have your villains show up, they break through a wall, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, but they need to show up. And then you have a couple pages of fights that you show that you can also choreograph a fight. And that way you're showing that you can do the range of different things that it comes into, drawing a comic. So they can be confident, they can give you a script, and you'll be able to actually carry off what is needed in the script, because it'll be anything. You could be drawing a ranch with horses, and that's the script. And, you need to be able to figure out a way to make that work, and on a deadline. So, you want to show that you have those skills.
All right. This is the very last question. This is from Henry Jeremic. who updated us with the hockey score. So we're going to ask this question. Dave, would you consider adding the bear claws from the Fang costume to this Wolverine drawing? A question Meredith won't ask, but I keep trying like you told us to keep asking.
The bear claws from the Fang
We
costume.
don't even know what that... See, no, we don't even know.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry, Henry. I don't know.
That's no. He's not going to add them.
Yeah, I apologize.
We'll find that out for next time.
Yeah, there's so much that I don't know. All right, well, anyway.
You guys just expose our comic ignorance.
We're all learning. We all are.
learning here.
Thank you, everyone, so much for coming and watching this drawing of Wolverine. It was fun to do something in pencil again. Hopefully it showed up well on screen. It's a little lighter than pen, but it's a different process, and it's fun to be able to go through that whole thing with you guys.
Thanks, Eric, for moderating.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you so much, Eric.
coming.
Yeah, and thanks for all the great questions. Again, we will see you guys next Monday, same time, 8 o'clock. Meredith? You already said thank you. Meredith already said thank you. All right. Thank you again, everyone. If you enjoy the video, like and subscribe, all that stuff. And we will see you next week.
Hi. Is it bedtime? It's so bad. We're so